Stop sharing my screen here. All right, everybody. What's up, Chef Disaster, Princess Rescuer? I see you two are the first ones in here. And a couple of people watching from the clouds. Hello to you too. All right. So everybody, I want to go ahead and start this off with Faith. You're so mean. Why are you doing this to us? I got so many black men coming into my comment section, and they are telling me that I'm being mean and unreasonable. They're saying that Faith is putting black men down in order to promote swirling. So now I'm not going to make this a long live stream because I got to address some stuff. I know that even after I address the fuckery, you all are still going to come back to the chat room crying, because that's what you do. Now, I have said numerous times on my lives that I prefer black love. Hello, Sheila E. How are you? I've said it numerous times. I prefer for black men and women to get together and make black families. But looking at the factual, empirical data that's out here that says that that's not possible, therefore we have to use the stats and we have to figure out what it is that we need to do that is beneficial. Now, if black men have 5 to 6 women vying for their attention and they can only pick one, I've said this over and over again. What are the others to do? So now you want to ignore empirical data and you want to attack Faith by saying Faith being mean to black men by telling black women the truth. I'm going to need some of you to grow up. I'm going to need some of you to pick the cotton out your ears. I'm going to need some of you to listen to what I actually say. But see, some of you all selective listen, and that's the problem. And that's the reason why you have me up here after doing a 13, 14-hour shift, tired as hell, get home, look at my comment section, and I see black men whining. Okay, you're whining because you got all the pick of the black women. You've been had all the pick of the black women for years. Black women didn't understand why they were at each other's throats for so long. Then I go and I figure out what the problem is. The problem is black women at each other's throat because they fighting over the same one man. And you know what happens when you put 7 little girls in a room with one doll. They're going to fight and tear each other's eyes out over that doll. And the others, if one gets the doll and she's the only one that gets to play, the other little girls are going to hate. So what they're going to start doing is they're going to do everything they can to that doll and to that little girl to break that little girl up from that doll, because if they can't have the doll, nobody can. And black men, you are the doll that these little black girls have been fighting over. So when I put out empirical data and I tell black women, here's the solution. All of you gonna get a doll, okay? But maybe the doll is not gonna look like you, okay? Because there's not enough little black dolls in the store. So we gonna have to get you a white doll. We're gonna have to get you a Chinese doll. We're gonna have to get you a doll from Africa, or maybe Jamaica or Cuba. We're gonna have to get you a doll. You're gonna all have your own doll, but it may not be exactly the one you may want. But you're all gonna have your own doll, because you all can't play with one doll at the same time. Now, see, to me, this seems like a really good solution, because we don't want these little girls to kill each other over a doll. I mean, after all, there are plenty other dolls out there they could play with. It's not that serious. But when you sit up here and you explain it rationally, you still get these people with the selective hearing acting as if they don't hear what you're saying. And see, I got my little smooth jazz playing in the background because I get a little impatient sometimes. I do get a little impatient sometimes, so I have to play my calming music, because it's the only thing that stopped me from cussing folks out. And see, I don't want to be that person. You know, I'm a lady. I try to be anyway. Even though I drive trucks, I'm still a lady. That's the reason why the Cash App that I have is called LadyInTheTruck. But sometimes, you know, people want to take you out your character because they want to be ignorant, and they want you to get ignorant with them. And I'm not about to do that. I don't have time. You don't have time to keep explaining the same stuff over and over again to grown folk. Don't have time. But here I am. Yet here I am, explaining the same stuff over and over again. Listen, I know that, you know, everybody wants to be pump the fist, power to the people, black power, and all that. And you know what? That is very admirable. But here is the cold, hard facts, okay? Black women have been power to the people, pump the fist, black power for many, 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 many years, to our own detriment, okay? Now we have black men that are sitting up here giddy with happiness over seeing black women getting hit over the head with skateboards. They're giddy with happiness over seeing black women getting thrown in dumpsters. Giddy with happiness. And this is not me raking black men over the coal, okay? I'm talking about things that actually happen. And then when I go and I look at social media, I don't see an outpouring of sympathy for these women. As a matter of fact, when a lot of these men talk about these instances, they're basically saying that we're getting what we deserve somehow. But yet, when I tell black women, hey, you don't really have to put up with any abuse. You don't have to be fighting over each other over the same man. You can all have your own man if you just expand your options. I'm coming with a viable solution that makes sense given the situation. And not all Black women that are in interracial relationships with non-Black men are being abused, the same way that not all Black men are abusive. This is not a slam at Black men, and I have been saying this for the longest. When I tell Black women that it is to our benefit to expand our options, I am not saying so because I have some kind of vitriol towards Black men. I am saying so because of the necessity for Black women. See, Black men, you all don't have a necessity. You actually have a plethora of women to choose from within your own race in your own country. And if that were the same case for Black women, I would not be on here saying this, because I do prefer for us to be with one another. But being that that isn't the case, being that we are sitting up here pretty much riding the penis carousel, I can't in good faith continue to tell Black women to stay in the group. It is not to our benefit. So when I say that Black women need to expand, and once again, I said this in the other video, expand does not mean exclude, but yet I still have some of these remedial guys coming into my comment section as if they don't understand what I just said, asking me why I'm putting Black men down. Where have I put Black men down? How is it putting Black men down to tell Black women that there ain't enough dolls to play with? Hey, Sheila E. And who just said, oh, just see one. I'm just now seeing your comment. Hello. So no, it is not a put down once and for all. I want you guys to get it clear, understand me. When I tell Black women that it would be beneficial for us to expand the options, I am not saying don't date Black men, but if you're not able to find one, or if someone in another group is willing to put that ring on your finger and they're a good guy, don't exclude them. I think that expanding the options will give every Black woman a better chance at finding happiness, being that there aren't enough Black men to go around. There is a need for Black women, especially Black women here, to date out. It's not like we're in Africa where there's plenty of Black men. We're here and there ain't enough. So for those of you that can't get that, you're slow, you're remedial, you know, I done said it forwards and backwards, I'm not gonna say it again. So next time somebody come into my comment section crying, talking about Faith, you so mean, you putting Black men down, I'm gonna tell you that you have the option. You do have the option not to come here. You can unsubscribe anytime. I would not be mad at you. Nobody puts a gun to anybody's head to make them come anywhere. I appreciate all the views and all the subscribers that I do get, but at the same time, I'm not a dictator. If you don't like something that I'm saying, and trust and believe, there are going to be plenty of times that you and I are not going to agree, and I'm not going to sit here and be the type of content creator that sits up here and says whatever people want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I don't make enough money off this platform, first of all, to be catering and pandering to anybody. First things first. And even if I did, I still wouldn't, because that ain't the type of woman that I am. Never have been, never will be. Just Z1 says, I wish I had this perspective when I was younger. I get it. Have standards with all men and open up to other groups. Exactly. Exactly. You know, there is no shame in Black women saying, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and expand my options, maybe not to an American brother, maybe it might be an African brother, maybe it might be a Cuban brother, or maybe it might be a Hispanic brother. Even if it ain't a brother, I wouldn't be mad at you because the numbers ain't there. Love wisdom, yes, this is smooth jazz. I love it. This is my wind down music. It helps me relax and eventually go to sleep. What's up, Mia De Vega? Yeah, so you know, faith not being mean for telling the truth. You know, and I know that a lot of people are not ready to hear the truth, and that ain't my problem. It really ain't. You know, I am very, very, I try to be soft as possible with my delivery as it is, but I ain't your mama. I'm not going to pull my breast out and put it in your mouth as a pacifier while I tell you what you need to hear. I'm not going to coddle you. See, all of us grown. We don't need coddling. You don't need mama to stick the breast in your mouth and coddle you and make you feel better about yourself because you don't want to hear the truth. I think we all beyond that. Now, strategically speaking, you know, because I was asked a good question in my comment section. This person has been a long time subscriber, and I believe that they deserve an explanation. First question they asked me is, why do I have to put down Black men when talking about swirling? I don't put down Black men when I talk about Black women expanding their options. Expanding their options does not automatically mean swirling. That is open to interpretation. It could mean swirling if that's what the woman wants to do. That is an option, but it's not only relegated to her going outside of Black. So it's not putting Black men down to tell Black women that they have options. The only reason why you feel is a put down is because you feel rejected when you think about your women going to other groups. And that's a natural feeling because I felt that way about Black men going to women of other groups. Yeah, I can sit here and admit that. I was immature, selfish, because who wants to think about their men of their race preferring women of other races? What's up, Miss Anti? So I get it, Black men. I get your hurt feelings. No matter how sensitive a woman tries to be about your feelings, I get it. But no, this is not me putting Black men down to give Black women the truth. This is me loving Black women to give them the truth. And if you are a Black man that loves Black women, if you love your sisters, you wouldn't want your sisters out here banging their head up against a wall, riding a dick sharing carousel, sharing the same penis and wondering how come they're not out here winning. Just think about that for a second. Would you want that for your daughters? Because I'm going to submit to you right now, anytime a Black woman, even if she does find love with a Black man and marries a Black man, she's still in some sort of competition with other Black women trying to tear her marriage apart because there aren't enough Black marriageable men. So these women are even becoming home wreckers and tearing up the marriages of other Black women. But this is something that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about that problem. The problem with Black women not even respecting each other's marriages because of this man shortage. And I'm just putting out there the reason why we've been tearing each other apart. And I'm putting out there a solution why we don't have to do that to each other anymore. We can actually be more respectful of each other's relationship if we know we can all have our own men and expand our options. And that is in no way being disrespectful to Black men when I say this. Elgin Tinez, I know you don't. I know you don't want your Black women to go to no other race. But again, Elgin, if you have a wife and there are 5 or 6 other women that wanted to be with you too, you got to turn them women down once you pick one. Where do the other 5 or 6 go? Are they going to jump on another penis sharing carousel? Or do you step out of your marriage to appease some of them? See, Elgin, you don't want your chocolate to go to no other race. But if you love your Black women, you wouldn't want them fighting each other, hurting each other, tearing each other apart either. Elgin says, I had a sister that I loved and wanted to marry her, but she was too controlling. Yeah, you know, and I get that, Elgin, but your relationship issues don't have anything to do with what I'm talking about right now, which is the man shortage. And, you know, as much as I would love to see every sister in this country get a brother, if a brother isn't available, do not tear apart your sister's marriage or your sister's relationship with a man because you think that is the last man available on earth. I love my Black sisters too much to lead you astray and tell you to continue to be race loyal and keep doing that to each other, because that's what we do to each other. This is exactly what happens. Love Wisdom. Oh, Love Wisdom also has a channel. Sister, drop your channel in the chat. But she says you have sisters out here proud to be side chicks and not respecting of boundaries. Exactly. And see, this is the thing that I don't want anymore. I don't want to see Black women doing this to each other anymore, because this is the cups of all the disrespect that we have towards each other. If every Black woman had her own man, best believe it would not be all of this backstabbing and Black women not trusting each other. Okay, I just sent down the link to anybody that wants to come up and join the conversation. The disrespect doesn't have to go on. So, you know, for Black men to sit up here and because I'm telling the truth, you want to make me the poster child, or you want to make me the punching bag, more like it, for your anger. Because I know it's a gut-wrenching thing. Your first gut instinct is to get angry at the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. Okay? I went out here, I gathered the data, and I'm doing what most other people do with the data. I'm using the data and I'm coming up with a solution. Oh, hey, love wisdom. Hold on, let me add you on here. Hey, sister.
Hey, how you doing? How's everybody?
Girl, I'm just sitting up here. You know, I'm the punching bag for everybody today.
Look, I don't consider you a mean person. I've been listening to you for a very long time. I don't see you as mean. You're just a woman who will tell the truth. And the truth hurts. It's nothing pretty. And I don't understand why these men are calling you mean, where these men big up non-black women every day. Like, you have an entire movement, Save Yourself Black Men, whose sole purpose is to get black men to date out. You know, there is no regard in how the women will feel. You understand what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
now you have women saying, you know what? We have options too. So now you have women trying to level the playing field. Now everybody want to get territorial now. So to me, it comes across as, we don't want you, but no other race of men can have you. That's how it comes across.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, the thing about it is, let's not play the pro-black community trope when it's conveniencing you. If we're going to be pro-black community and the black man and the black woman and the black child, you got to be about that. That means you got to call people out who are being treacherous. You can't sit there and be no cleanup man, you know, for your brethren that's being disrespectful. At the end of the day, y'all have been talking about all the options y'all got. Everybody want the black man. The black man, we the most desired. Don't nobody want you black bitches. Like, we hear that all the
All
time.
the time.
All the time. It's like, you too ugly. Your hair ain't straight enough. You got an attitude. You too fat. You're broke. You're ugly. It's on some Mister from the Color Purple. You're ugly. You're poor. You're black. You're nothing at all.
That's
That's what.
exactly what I thought about. Love wisdom. I thought about the same thing. That scene from The Color Purple. You're black. You're ugly. Don't nobody want you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
You know, and it's like, when you hear that over and over and over and over again, what tends to happen is, not only do you believe it, you become detached from black men. You know, you have black women out here who will tell you that they're afraid of black men. Um, some of them are raising their daughters to not be around black boys. Like, this is the cycle that keeps going on when you're publicly and globally shaming your own women. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't have one-sided loyalty where we constantly see evidence of no reciprocity. So, you know, when you say black women expand their options, again, that doesn't mean exclusion. There's African men, there's men of the Caribbean, there's men of Canada, the UK, France. There's black men across the diaspora. So it's not necessarily, oh, I'm just gonna go get me a white man or an Asian man. No, there are plenty of black men all around the world. And even with that faith and family, what I noticed about that is, if black women say, you know what, let's date interculturally, meaning, well, let me date a man from Nigeria, Africa. You know, some of these American black men got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, and here's the thing, not to cut you off, but the reason that they have a problem with it is because they have been benefiting from the 5-to-1, 6-to-1 ratio of women that fight over them. They don't want the party to stop. So if every black woman woke up and realized that she can have her own man, then these guys are going to have to do something else.
right. Well,
They're not going to be able to play like they've been playing, because every woman will be preoccupied with her own man.
right. And the big, you know, the big C word that they always tell us to do is called compete. See, now the playing field is level. Now you're going to have to compete. See, you tell us to compete against non-black women, which there really should be no competition, because Black women, if I want to touch on my hotepery, Black women are the original woman. There is no competition. However, for argument's sake, you want us to compete with other races of women. So we have to compete with the white woman who's already been put as the global standard of beauty. How can you compete with the global standard of beauty? How? Where her men elevated her to be the standard of beauty across the world. How do you expect us to compete with that?
And how can we compete when our own men are telling us that every other woman is better?
Right. Right. So if Asian women are better, white women are better, Latino women are better, where does that leave your own women? I have never heard a white man say, Stephanie, you got to compete with Keisha. He will never say that, because there is no competition. You ain't never going to hear Liu Kang tell Ming Lee she got to compete with Lupe. There is no competition, because every man is going to elevate their women. There's no competition. We got to compete with these other races of women, down to the hair, down to the weight, down to the complexion. And then you turn around and say that you hate yourself because you bleach your skin. But the women that you are chasing after, who do they look like? Got Black women literally cutting themselves up like romaine lettuce, looking like Lopan and Shang Tsung, to appease a group of men who don't want her no damn way.
Exactly. Speak on it. Speak on it. Speak on it.
I want Black women, and I'm glad that you're having this conversation, you and Sister Cluster, because Black women do need to be the mind has to be decolonized. Like, we got to deprogram all this. We got to deprogram all this, because Black women go through a lot of depression. Black women go through a lot of self-esteem issues. Black women go through a lot. And it's like, we need to rebuild ourselves and reset our role in the community, as well as this race. We have to do that, because we have little girls that's coming up right now. And we have to be an example for the little girls. No, Black woman, we got to take some accountability that in some instances we perpetrated some of this dysfunction, and we have to clean up on our part so we can be better women to the girls.
Exactly.
Even down to our sons, if you have sons, because how they see you behave, that's how they're going to think all Black women are. So we have to change that. And if Black women decide, you know what, I want to date outside of my race, that's your problem. I can't tell you who you can and cannot date. I always tell Black women and Black men, please do not disrespect your race to appease other races of people. Just go where you are loved, go where you feel appreciated, and just stay over there. I don't like the whole cattiness going back and forth, like,
yeah, it's childish, because they're going nana new. I got a white girl, and I don't see Black women coming with that same energy towards Black men when we date out. When we date out, we just go with our men, and that's it. We're not nana new. I got Brad. We don't do that.
Right. We don't. I mean, of course, you have your detractors online who will do that nan and a boo boo as a result of the brothers doing the nan and a boo boo. But for the most part, Black women just. I have a friend. It'd be 5 years on her birthday, April 24th, when she married a white guy. They live out there in California. She's dated Black men. She's never said anything disrespectful about Black men. The Caucasian man was the best man for her, and she's not disrespecting nobody. She ain't trying to get nobody to do nothing. She living her best life. I agree with you. I don't see Black women offline really talk about, that's why I got me a white guy. You got to get I don't see that. I see a little bit of that online. However, brothers, god damn, y'all just woo.
When I hear Black women talk about, why they decided to date out, they always say it has something to do with a black man hurting her. Now I've heard that. And black
Yes,
men say the same thing, but it's usually more, but they also say other hurtful things about black women, like we're fat, we're ugly, we don't do this, we don't do that, we're not good mothers, you know, and a whole list of negatives that tear down the self-esteem of black women. But black
right,
women don't have that same type of vitriol and negative energy towards black men. All we basically say is that they cheated on us, or you know, they left us with babies or something like that. That's very how can I say, a psychological event that happened in our lives. But we don't
right,
say stuff like they're fat, they're ugly, we don't like their hair, you know, little stuff like that that they say about us. Other groups of men look better than them. You know, they
mhm,
other groups of men have bigger penises than them. We don't do that. That's not the type. The conversations are like night and day when you ask about why one versus the other is dating out.
right. Because for black women, it's more of a behavioral thing. Um, for example, the young lady who played Queen and Slim, I think Jodie, I think her name is Jodie Foster Turner, and she said that white men were the only men that made her feel beautiful about herself. And I remember brothers had a damn aneurysm. And I'm like, no, 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 no. How could you minimize her experiences? She's saying that the men in her own race did not make her feel beautiful. She had to meet someone outside of her race that said that she was beautiful. You
And
understand? Like,
that's the thing. All black women do is uplift black men. We're
all the
always
women.
talking about how we love black men. We love how they make us feel in
Mhm.
bed, and how they, you know, how beautiful they are and everything else. We're always uplifting them. We're all what Chrissy calls it, man stroking. We're always man stroking them and putting them up on the pedestal as the sex symbol of what we think a man should be. We
Hold
put
on.
our men up there on the pedestal, but they don't put us up on the pedestal. They put other women up on the pedestal, and they how can I say, they further accentuate the European standard of beauty. We actually made the Afro standard of beauty what's popping for men by putting them on the pedestal, but they do not do the same for us.
Right.
The reciprocation just isn't there. And what I'm trying to do on my platform, because I see a lot of the verbal abuse, and not all men are verbal abuse. I'm not talking about all men, but
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is the majority of you are. And I'm trying to undo that psychological abuse by putting out factual information and letting black women know. When they tell you that you're least married, nobody's marrying you, well, you're least married because a lot of us can't get married because there's too many of us. We're all wanting one black man, and one black man can only marry one black woman. That's the reason why we're least married, not because we're not wanted.
Right. Right. And I remember, I think it was back in 2007, 2008, you had that Japanese guy. And oh, sis, when I say I was heartbroken, because it was like this Japanese guy had said that he did his own little test, and he said that black women were the least attractive in the world. And brothers literally took that and ran with it.
Took it
See,
and ran with it.
nobody wants you, because he said, and I said, how dare you allow a non-black man tell you the woman that created you is the least attractive woman on the planet? Doesn't that mean you're the least attractive man on the planet because you came from that woman?
And then we
Oh,
didn't even question why he would even put something like that out there when there was nothing to back it up. There was no data or anything to back it up. For all
it was,
he could have been an Asian man who tried to date sisters, and because we are race loyal, we turned him down, and he's butt hurt over it.
right. And beauty, Right. Beauty is subjective. Like what one person considers is attractive, somebody may say it's unattractive. But brothers ran with that. And what I try to tell brothers is that when you keep doing this to your woman, it ends up backfiring on you down the road. Because there's so much disrespect that somebody can take. There's so much bruising to the self-esteem that somebody can take in trying to do all this minimization of your women when they have a grievance. That shit gonna backfire on you one day, because there's gonna be a time where sisters are not gonna listen to y'all, period. It's gonna be to the point where sisters gonna look left when she's supposed to look right when it comes to y'all. And you can't use, well, the black woman and the black man must work together. Yeah, they must work together, but it always seems that it's one side doing all the work. So I gotta boost up my self-esteem, take care of the kids. I gotta do all this, plus boost your self-esteem too. And we're not even gonna talk about marching for y'all. God forbid something happens. We're a jack of all trades. Y'all even put it in drawings about black women. She got the world on one hand. She trying to put the crown on the black man's head, and she got her toes on the books. We're doing so much, and there is no reciprocation.
Exactly.
And you wonder why black women run around here with their heads cut off like chickens. Like, this is why it's a whole movement out there saying black women stay home.
And here's the other thing too. Now they tell us that the white woman is better. You know, she got her own real hair. She is a lot slimmer than we are. We're fat and all of this. Okay, so now here we go. We go and grow out our natural hair. We got a whole natural hair movement. Remember when the movement first started out and there were a lot of jokes about nappy hair and black men comparing black women to Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
You all remember that?
I remember that clearly. Clearly, I remember that.
And now they're all of a sudden they're acting as if they weren't putting black women down during the beginning of the natural hair movement.
I've heard men say just because you got natural hair, you still got to be attractive. A lot of y'all are not cute with your natural hair. Some of y'all need to go perm and shit.
Like our blackness, period.
Right.
It doesn't have nothing to do with being overweight, hair, or any of that. Weave, none of that. It don't have anything. They don't like blackness, and they are the ones running away from blackness.
Right. Because even, you know, when we talk about, you know, our full noses, our full lips, that's something that's unique to us. That's something that we can't change. And when white women are put in front of us, the thinner nose, the thinner lips, the straighter hair, and saying, well, you're supposed to look like her, that's impossible. And then when you have black women attempt to, you know, the heavy makeup, the contouring of the nose, and you're putting this platinum blonde lace front on your head, and you're 3 shades brighter than what you are, what's the first thing that come out of you? Oh, you trying to be like that white woman. You're self-hating. I'm like, wait a minute, but didn't you just say like 10 minutes ago? It's that bipolarism. You know, and it's like, black women, you got to be what I want you to be when I feel like it. So today, I want you to be a warrior princess today. And tomorrow, I want you to put the wig on your face, you know, because I don't like your nappy hair. And if you do have nappy hair,
I'm sorry not to cut you off, but it's getting to the point where a lot of black women are also internalizing these talking points against their own black women too. Because now I find that I spend a lot of time having the same circular arguments with black women about hair and makeup. And so I'm sitting up here like, you know, this is almost as if, you know how a person's been abused so much and told one thing so much they start to believe it. That's what that's like.
Yes.
These women start to believe what these men say. Yeah, you know, I gotta have I gotta have my own natural hair. If I don't have my own natural hair, then I hate myself. I'm not beautiful. And so then they go on to any woman that has a wig on or perms her hair, straightens her hair. This woman pounces on her on behalf of the black men, kind of like how black men kill each other on behalf of white supremacy.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
You hate yourself because you wear weave. You hate yourself because you dye your hair. And it's like, well, black women have actually been wearing weave since the age of Kemet, since Egypt. Like, yes. Black women have, like, when you see like Europeans, like the judges, they have their hair like kind of modeled like the Sphinx with the crimps, with the wigs. That came from Egypt, where the headdress, that was not all of those Egyptian sisters' hair. That was weave. That was a headdress.
Yes.
You know, the first sewn-in weave was done by a black woman who used to sew in Marilyn Monroe's hair. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe wore weaves, a sewn-in weave. So that's an accessory of hair. Now, have black women gotten attached to it to where they have become embarrassed of their own hair because you have your traction alopecia? Yes. However, when you pull back some of the wigs, Sister Faith, them sisters be having hair down to their behinds, healthy and thick.
This is what I've been trying to tell black men. All sisters that wear extensions, wigs, weave, they're not bald head. I wear hair weave, but my hair is shoulder length. Hair weave does not automatically mean bald head. Right. And I've actually showed my own hair several times, actually more than several times, numerous times on here. Actually, a lot of people would not even know the difference between my hair and the wigs. There have been times I haven't even had a wig on and some guy called me a hair-hatted hooligan on here. And it was my hair.
I remember you did a video with you blowing out your hair. And it was a thick set of hair. I remember Lovely T has showed her hair, and Lovely T's hair, I think when she showed it was like in her mid back. And I'm sitting here saying, brothers, underneath them wigs, it's a lot of hair underneath those wigs. But the thing about it is, our hair is different than other races of women. We can't do the wash and go like other races of women like that.
No. And on top of that, our hair, quiet as kept, our hair is not as strong as other races of women's hair. Now, right. you may think because it's a thick afro that is strong, but actually our hair is very, very delicate. So we can't be manipulating it every day either, or it will fall out. So a lot of times black women may braid their hair up or put a wig on or wear extensions to save their own hair.
Right.
But when you try to explain this to brothers, it's nah, you don't have to do that. And I'm just like, okay, because you know so much about hair.
So much. It's like, sir, in our hair, especially type 4, when you talk about type 4C hair, where we need a lot of moisture, in our hair, it's like the shrinkage is real, but that don't mean people are bald-headed. No. And yes, weaves and wigs are protective styles. Yes, they are. Okay. I'm not going to be curling and putting all this heat into my hair where I will end up bald-headed. No, I'm going to sew the weave in so I can, bevel it out, do whatever I want to do with it. And my hair underneath is protected. And on top of that, why are you as a man so concerned with hair? Especially if you ain't buying the hair. I don't know why you so concerned about it. Like, I would think with mass incarceration and black men being killed out here in the street, I would think you'll be concerned about lobbying and getting things together to protect brothers, not about what a sister puts or don't put in her hair, because quiet as kept, Asian women wear wigs and hair pieces, and so do Caucasian women. And they don't get nearly as much ridicule from us. Hell, they don't even get ridicule from their own men for wearing a wig and a hairpiece.
No. And actually, I live out here in Phoenix. I went to a salon because they only have white hair salons out here. But I went to get a wig install. And, they know how to do the installs out here because guess what? These white women be up in there getting wigs installed too.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there getting an install, and then here comes this young white girl in with a she had short blonde hair. She had it cut in a pixie, but she wanted a long I think it was like a reddish blonde wig that she wanted installed. She was having her wig installed. They go and they have a variety of styles that they like to rock. And this is what I keep telling people. It's not even just about saving our hair. It's about variety.
Yes.
Sometimes we just like variety. Women love variety. But if a black woman goes and tries to get some variety, we hate ourselves.
Same thing with the makeup. Makeup is an accessory. Now, do some sisters lay it on a little too thick? Yes. However, it's an accessory. Lipstick, foundation, concealer, eyes. That's all a part of being a woman. And it just baffles me, like, you critique every little thing that black women do, and black women take a shit. Oh, she wasn't sitting down when she was doing it. It's like, brother, come on. Come on. Shit, like, what do you want? What do you want? I'm sorry. I'm not going to be cutting my face up and damn near cutting my neck off to try to appease a group, because it's not all black men, a group of black men who ain't gonna want me no damn way. Like, I don't have a problem with my blackness. I love being black. You can't tell me no different. Just because you have a problem with your blackness, don't put that shit out on me, because I will never be a white girl or an Asian girl, and I'm not trying to be one. If anything, them hoes trying to be like us.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
The Kardashians getting those butt injections, lips injections, going around braiding their hair up. So, you know, I'm sitting up here. I've had knockdown, drag out arguments with other black women telling me, oh, if you put the straight woman's hair, you just want to be white, you want to be Caucasian. I said, honey, even if I straighten my hair, I put a picture of myself next to Meghan Markle. Me and Meghan Markle had the same hairstyle. You know how she likes to wear that part down the middle with her hair down? I had on a straight wig, the same as Meghan Markle. I said, now which one of us can pass for white? Now Meghan Markle has a curly fro when her hair isn't straightened out. She can pass for white. I still look like a sister no matter how I do my hair. How in the hell am I trying to be white? I look like none other than myself, no matter what type of hairstyle I rock.
No matter what, because our features are still going to show, our complexion, our body type is still going to show. And my whole thing is, what is being white? What is being white? Black women can straighten their hair. It's called the silk press. Black women can straighten their hair.
Exactly. And white women can put perms in their hair and rock afros. And they still not going to look like a sister unless they tan themselves or put on makeup or something like Rachel Dolezal.
Right.
But other than that, even if they rock a fro, they still look like white women.
Still look like white women, sis. Still look like white women. And nobody bats an eye. It's fine. Oh, it's just cultural appreciation. Like, I don't see y'all brothers getting on the Kardashians for trying to be like black women. You can't stand black women, but you praise them. I've seen the before pictures of the Kardashian Jenner clan. Them little Shang Tsung shape-shifting hoes. Okay? What they look like now compared to what they look like back then. Who is trying to be black here?
Exactly.
And who do they date? Because white men don't want them. Who are they trying to date?
And last time I checked, I don't see black women going to the surgeon to take away our big voluptuous lips. I don't see us going to the surgeon to take some of the fat out of our behinds.
None. I don't see black women
talk about that.
I don't see black women trying to remove the plumpness of our cheeks. I don't see us doing that. But I see them getting breast implants. But they call it the Brazilian butt lift, but we know that came from black women. You know, they don't never want to give us our credit. The collagen fillers in the lips.
Yep.
You know, that's not, they're doing that, not us.
Exactly. So
Kylie
hair,
Jenner look
hair is
like a
something that's universal. And this is what I be trying to tell people. Hair is universal. But these
universal.
black features ain't universal. These
It's
black features are unique to black women. And those are the things that these other groups of women are paying for that ain't universal. They can't get it. They're not born with it. They go to the tanning rooms, they pay big money to tan, they pay big money to buy that melanin, they pay big money to get that collagen. But guess what? We born with it.
thank you. We are the real thing. That's why I says I don't understand with some of these brothers. Like, this is the real thing right in front of you. How can you despise the real thing?
Exactly.
Now, you despise the real thing on a black woman. Oh, but how arrogant are we when it comes to them? Especially dark-skinned black men. Dark-skinned black men are arrogant than a motherfucker. Okay? Extremely arrogant. You can't tell them that they ain't ugly. Okay? You can't tell them that they ain't the shit. All right? But want to tell you how ugly you are. My nigga, we the same complexion.
Oh, no. You get the ones on here that say that dark skin is a manly feature.
Dark skin is a manly feature, as
Yes.
if we can go to the Most High himself and say, all black women don't create them dark skin. Like, the stuff that come out of these men's mouths, I'm like, am I talking to a black man or is this a Klan member? Because some of these men,
like I said though, love wisdom. Then they want to sit up here and criticize people like Jamila Lemieux when she says that black men act like the white supremacists of black women. But you can't get angry at the sister for saying that when you're saying racist things that sound like it could have came from a white person to black women.
Thank you. Because did not Charlemagne reiterate the same thing?
Yes, he did.
And a white man told Charlemagne that?
Yes, he did. Charlemagne said he had a white friend, and he said his white friend told him that black men treat their women like how racist white men treat black people. And I would have been embarrassed.
Right. And my thing is, do you not see that the world sees this? Where's the shame that the world sees how you treat your women? The world sees this. Hitting black women in the face with skateboards. You know what I mean? Like, the world sees how you treat your own women. And you think that this is going to backfire on black women. No, brother, it's backfiring on y'all as we speak. Because what happens is this. Are black women perfect? No. But when them non-black men put boot, bullet, taser to ass, the first person that's out there marching for y'all getting hit with them damn rubber bullets are black women. Okay? However flawed the black woman is, when something happens to black men, that black woman is the first one in that fucking line.
And willing to die. Let's not forget that.
Willing to die.
And willing to die.
And even Brick, Faith, come on. You seen the beautiful little sister. Got sickle cell anemia, the little black girl out there in that line saying no justice, no peace. I have seen more black little girls than I have seen black little boys out there. But some way, somehow, we the enemy. We the enemy. See, that's what pisses me off. Okay? Black women have been getting fucked up out there for y'all. And got the nerve to say she the enemy, she ain't shit. You had a black woman, Olatoya Salawu. This sister was out here in the sweltering heat, marching for black people. Don't you know this woman was killed by a black man?
Yeah. And then the first thing that a lot of black men will say is that black women get killed by white men too, though. That's the first thing they'll say.
Or they get killed. But the thing about it is, black women Do not have proximity to white people like that. Unless you're in a relationship with a white man, the police, crazy white boy. Black women don't have much interaction with white people like that unless it's in a professional environment.
Speak on it, sis.
To say that black women get killed by white men too, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because you get killed by white women too.
And here's the thing. Now, black men don't have as much close proximity to white women. Yet, according to past FBI cases of false rape, majority of the false rape cases against black men come from white women. And they're not even in close proximity. Like
Go figure. Go figure. She been the same way since the plantation with her lying ass. Yet somehow she is pacified from all of this. I've even heard black men, especially with all of this marching that's been taking place, we don't need you bitches because white women out here marching for us.
Oh, well, you know, it's kind of hit or miss, you know, because you got some of them out there marching, then you got some of them cowering down up under their car, talking about some, he's trying to hurt me, he's trying to hurt me, trying to get you killed.
You know, and we also see, you know, the signs that says black dicks matter. I suck black dick so I can speak about the issues. You know, we're seeing the big 12-inch black dildos in the air. And these women are telling you in your face, no, I'm not marching for you per se. I'm marching for what's in between your legs. I have to have access to that. Spoken like a plantation mistress she's always been. Oh, no. I gotta fight for that in between. No. I need to fight for that dick. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Even a white woman even came out and said it. Could y'all please stop DMing me asking me to go march for y'all? I just want to fuck black men and have mixed kids because they ain't gonna be black anyway.
Oh yeah, but see, they don't want just any mixed kids. They don't want to raise a black woman. When they have that mixed kid, they're praying that it's a boy, like Khloe Kardashian was on that episode. They don't want to raise a black woman.
No. The thing is, I gotta pull the sisters' coattails on this because sisters are partly responsible because we have created an environment to where when it comes to black men, oh, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. And we teach the black boys that your loyalty and support to the black community is conditional. Because I've heard black women tell their boys, just because they black, that don't mean you got to support them. You don't do that. So the boys have grown into young men with no loyalty of the community. It's conditional. Whereas black girls, you have to support the community unconditionally. And sisters, you can't do that because now we're asking for receipts and there's no receipts to be shown because we didn't put a standard out there. You see what I'm saying? Now it's like, we need reciprocity. And the brother's looking at you like, bitch, you better go out there and march. I don't know what type of reciprocity you talking about. I don't know what that is. Because we didn't set the standard to say, listen here, when it comes to the community, period, your loyalty should be unconditional. However, your support for certain black people must be conditional. Let me give you an example. Well, what happened to Rayshard Brooks? Now, married black man with children. He got killed by the police. Everybody was out there marching, rightfully so. Wife was on television crying with the babies. But then we find out that the white woman, aka Kirby, Miss Pac-Man, who burnt down the Wendy's, was his alleged girlfriend. Flag on the play. Hold up. You mean to tell me he was married, but he was dicking down Miss Pac-Man? And when you listen to the tape, and he said, Natalie White, my girlfriend, Natalie White. Well, that's Miss Pac-Man who burnt down the Wendy's. So your family wasn't even the last thing on your mind. Kirby was the last thing on your mind. That right there, Black woman, my condolences to you and your family. Sit home. Because that's treachery. That's treachery.
Exactly.
Because if it was a Black woman, because recently there was a 21-year-old Black woman who was killed by her white boyfriend in Louisiana. Did we hear anything about it? No, we didn't. Did anybody march for her? No. Did anybody say anything? No. Want to know why? Because that's treachery. So why can't the same attitude be held to these treacherous niggas, okay, who talk Black and fuck white? Why can't that same thing be applied? Because again, with Black women, the standard must be held on to her. She betrays the community. Everybody sits there. Even Black women will sit down and be quiet. Oh yeah, see, yeah, because she don't supposed to be messing with them white women. But for Black men, oh, that could have been my son. Why can't these treacherous niggas see their daughters through these women that are killed? Why?
Absolutely.
Why? But why do we have to be empathetic? This is what I'm saying with this one-sided community loyalty that has to stop. I'm sorry, it has to stop. I'm sorry. It's disrespectful. The whole world is watching. It doesn't make our race look good, irregardless of who gets hurt. It doesn't look good on Black women because Black women are looked to the world as this strong, empowered, take charge woman, which could be in our detriment down the line because that means, well, she don't need nobody help because she always out there. That's one. For Black men, it makes Black men look bad because it looks like Black men can't do nothing but run under the skirt of their women to go speak for them, to go fight for them.
Now go ahead. I was just saying, speak. You cooking, sister.
To fight for them. This is where Black men need to show the world that y'all can handle this shit, that y'all can fight this shit. Y'all talk about the white man every goddamn day. Fight that white man. What the fuck? He out there shooting y'all in front of your kids and shit, and you won't even fight this man back. Who's out there on the line? Your women. Do you know how embarrassing that looks? But then when your women get fucked up,
they don't have enough pride within themselves to say, you know what, it does look bad whenever something happens to one of us. Our women are the first ones on the front line. They don't see it that way. We have Black male artists painting pictures of little Black girls in tutus with rifles in their hands, going to war for Black men in the Black community.
Yes.
And it doesn't resonate with them that this is inappropriate behavior.
And you wonder why the girls are perceived as masculine because of the depictions of how Black girls are supposed to be. If you want feminine women, if you want feminine girls to grow up into feminine women, you have to understand warfare. We can go back to the Revolutionary War. We can go back to the Civil War. The women were not out there on the front line. Ain't no woman was in Bunker Hill in Gettysburg. She wasn't out there shooting. She was at home. She was raising charity events for the soldiers out there, selling their rings and shit, sewing up flags for the cause. Black women should not be out there because if your man is out there fighting in the war and you right next to him, the first thing on his mind is protecting you. He gonna get shot. You and them kids need to be at home, okay? Protecting the home. You can get.
And we're supposed to be nursing the wounded.
Yes, cooking the meal. When he come home, he has clean clothes. He got a fresh meal to eat, so he can be replenished. You know.
Yes.
Go back on the battlefield. That's what you're supposed to do.
That is our natural place, but we have been put in the place of superwoman, superwoman. We're everything. We're the ones that go out here and fight all the battles, and then we turn around and we cook the meals, we go out and work, we nurture everybody. We are everything to everybody, so that our men don't even know how to step up because every time they put their foot out, we beat them to it.
Right. We're automatically there. Like, and this is why I say with sisters, we do have to take responsibility for that. I don't care if he trip on his own 2 feet. Let him trip on his own 2 feet and fight his battle. Because I do believe in Black men because of my history and what I've seen Black men do. It was empowering to see the Black Panthers step out there and see the men out there stepping up. That's what you're supposed to do. So I believe that Black men have it within them to do it. What happens is Black women have to cut the tie and sit down. You got to sit down, ladies, and let them fight. And also what that shows is when the sisters sit down, then you will see who's really the allies and who's not. When the women sit down, because now you can't say nothing. You got to actually get out there. You have to fight. You got to fight. Even if you don't give a damn about the women and the children. Let's just say for argument's sake, you don't care about the women and children. Okay?
Okay, I'm following you. Go ahead, sis.
Fight for yourself. Fight for yourself. Fight for yourself. Why can't you fight for yourself? Exclude the women and children. Okay, you said fuck the women and children. Why can't you fight for yourself? I am so tired of seeing Black men being shot up, being murked up, being embarrassed. I'm so sick of seeing that and nothing being done. Well, you want us to fight a war. You've been in a war since the ancestors stepped foot here in 1619. You ain't never not been in a war. What you talking about? But you ain't got no problem picking up the chopper and shooting your own brother. For what? But when it comes to this white boy, it's like, hands up, don't shoot. I am a man. If you don't get your ass out there and put foot to ass like you supposed to. But see, when you say this, you just want Black men to get killed. And exclude the women and children. Why can't you fight for yourself? Exclude the women and children. Don't even talk about Black women and children. Why can't you fight for yourself? Why?
And that's the whole thing. Like, you know, we're sitting up here seeing this happening to them. And they're sitting up here putting their women out there. There is a lot. There's a couple of guys, Soup Bone, in the comment section made a comment to this effect. And I'm going to try to see if I can find up. Here he goes. Wouldn't you rather die with your man than being the man's booty?
Soup Bone, I love you to death, brother, because you a real one. I'm of the mindset of Dr. Francis Quest Welston. A coward seed gonna die with him. I am not fighting alongside no cowardly ass man. I'm not doing that. Dr. Francis Quest Welston said, and sisters, listen to me good, because you got to change your mindset with this. If the man has not proven to be a provider and a protector, if the man cannot prove to provide and protect for himself, he is not going to do it for you. Exactly. Don't you go out here and be swollen belly for no man that has not proven himself to be a warrior. Enough playing house. Enough. If he does not prove himself to be a warrior and a provider, you keep them goddamn legs closed and you move on. You got to start letting coward seeds die right along with them. Because we're giving cowardly men babies. We're giving cowardly men money and time. And now they sitting up online saying, fuck you bitches.
And also, what kind of strategy of war is it when you send your women and children to the front battle lines? How do you win a war against other men with your women and children on the battlefield?
On the battlefield, the women and children need to be at home. They need to be at home. And the sad part about it is, Sister Faith and family, you actually have Black men who are mentors. They're warriors for the community. But you know what's happening to them? They get drowned out by all of these cowardly niggas. And what ends up happening is they get burnt out. Because you got Black men out here that is true to the game out here. And they are trying their best to turn this community around. But we got too many cowards out here who is drowning out the voices. Because if you fight for your people, you fight for your, oh, you a simp. You a simp. You a bitch ass nigga. Because you give a damn about your race? What? Are we in the twilight zone? Being race loyal, that is a standard of all races.
Wait, hold on. Sooooo, now you got to be trolling at this point.
Wait, in the Vietnam War, wasn't there women and children out there fighting? Okay, Sooooo, here's the thing about the Vietnam War, because I know you're going about with the Viet Cong. When you have a united race and a united front, the women were protecting the villages while the men were out there fighting. So the women did prepare traps and pitfalls in the village in case the enemy, the U.S. Army, came in there. So yes, but that's when you have a unified front. You also had female soldiers that were full-blown Viet Cong. So it was soft and hard. The women were at home protecting the village and the children. That's one buffer. Those are what you call soft soldiers. You also had Vietnamese women who worked at radio stations. You know, me love you long time, okay? Working in stations in code with the Viet Cong, telling the Viet Cong where the soldiers was coming. And then you got the hard soldiers where you have certain women who got, as Cluster B would say, the cliticular fortitude to go out there and shoot. The Viet Cong let those women be with them. But for the most part, you had a lot of soft female soldiers who was in the rice paddies, at home cooking, and dare your ass to come up in there, you was going to fall in the pit full of bamboo spikes. Exactly. That's when you have a unified front. We don't have a unified front right now, brother Sooooo. The men got to prepare that unified front. The women got to stay home and protect the home. Now, the women can lock and load with the chopper at home with her kid. That's where she's supposed to be. That's a soft soldier. You as the man, you out there taking the brunt. You taking the hits. You supposed to do that. That's a unified front. We don't have that. What we have is the reverse. You got women out there being the hard soldiers, and you got the dudes not even being soft soldiers.
That's why don't you take the link? I mean, why don't you go ahead and click on the link and come up here and make your argument, brother? Because you down here twerking in the comments section with these comments.
And in the movie, who was the sniper? Well, in Full Metal Jacket, that was a Viet Cong soldier. That's a hard soldier. She was the sniper who ended up getting killed by the United States Marine Corps. That's warfare. That's warfare. That's a hard soldier. She was willing to put her life on the line, and she took down a couple of Marines until she got killed by Matthew Modine's character, Private Joker. But again, that's a movie compared to how it is here. We can't compare ourselves to the Vietnamese. They were a unified front. We're not. Now, in the 60s, that was a different story with the Black Panther Party, because that was a unified front. You had the Black Panther Party, you had, I think, the Southern Leadership Movement, and then you had the Civil Rights Movement. So you had different groups, but everybody was a unified front. But the women were still not on the battle lines like that. The women were still at home back there, protecting the home with the babies, with the guns. You see what I'm saying? Until we become a unified group.
All right. Kenny Conjo with the let me address Kenny Conjo with the $2 super chat and cash app, by the way. Thank you, Kenny. He says, all right, I hear you ladies listening to the passion. Thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Kenny. You know, you gotta, you know, I'm pro-Black community, you know. I get very passionate about these things because it's like we both, Black men and Black women, have valid points to what's going on, but progress is being extremely slow because you got people who They already set in their ways. You have people who believe that the community ain't worth saving, but they keep talking about the community. And it's kind of like,
you don't keep talking about something that you don't care about.
right.
And see, a lot of these men, they do care about the community. That's the reason why they keep talking about, we're going to leave, we're going to go over here. And they've been leaving now for about 20 some odd years. I've been hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't talk about what you don't care about.
Right.
A lot of us are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that, but we have got to start thinking strategically as a group.
Right.
We got to start looking at what is beneficial to one another. So when I sit up here and I see, Black men talking about white is better. See, when Black women, when we talk about dating out, because I'm going to go right back to the original topic. Why do everybody think Faith's so mean and I'm bashing on Black men when I tell Black women it's to our benefit to expand options? See, Black women, we are not saying that we're going to walk away from the whole race. We're going to let the Black community burn. We don't think Black men are anything. You're nothing. We're not saying any of that. We're saying that there ain't enough options here for us. So we might have to expand. And that's not a hit against the brothers. That's
not at all. I think what it is just Black women sitting back and reevaluating their position. And, hey, it might be better for some Black women to date out. It might be the best thing for some of them, depending on how old they are, depending on where they are in life. Look, I want to be loved too. Everybody deserves to be loved.
Exactly.
They deserve that. They deserve to be cherished. They deserve to be appreciated. And in spite of everything that's going on right now, if that's how a sister feels, then you have to respect that, because on some real shit, brothers have been exercising their dating options for a very long time.
A long time, and very vocal about it too.
Very vocal. So I think for Black women, why not, if that's what they choose to do? Why can't Black women explore their options? Why can't Black women say, you know what? This is what I want to do, and let me do it. And what's the problem?
Here's why though, Love Wisdom, because a lot of them are able to jump from one woman to another. And I've seen this in my own family. I have an uncle. This guy legit had 19 kids by a bunch of different women. I lost count of the women.
Ooh.
But this Negro was never homeless. When one woman got mad at him and put her out of her house, because he never had his own house, he didn't have to, there was always another woman. Now imagine if all those women had their own man. Guess who would have to get their own crib?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's the reason why they don't want us to do it. That's the reason, because they're not going to be able to jump from one to the other if every woman had her own man and she was no longer fighting over just one penis. That's the reason in a nutshell. That scenario right there. Think about it. Think about how many Black men you know that had multiple women that they were living with. Legit, different wardrobes of clothes in every woman's house.
Yep. And when they get tired of this one, they go to the next one, stay for a little bit. When they get tired of her, yeah, I definitely agree. There's different houses for the occasion.
Exactly.
And
that's the scenario. That's when I said that they don't want the party to end. I really mean they really don't want the party to end. And I'm telling you, I'm here to shut the party down.
Yeah.
I'm here to give Black women women, I'm sorry, Black women another option. I'm here to wake up Black women. I'm out here sounding that horn with the other Black women who have been sounding the horn and letting Black women know, no, sisters, we ain't got to be fighting amongst each other for penis.
No, no, you should, and you should. And I have seen, I made in the comment section that you have sisters that are happy to be a side chick. Like, they're happy to be a side chick.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing to see Black women fight in corrals like this. And when you look at the dude, it's like, he's not even taking care of neither one of y'all. Like, y'all are doing all of the work. You're doing all of the work, and this man is sitting back watching y'all just beat the brakes off of each other, but he already has a third woman out there. So both of y'all are canceled. He got somebody else that, you know, piques his interest. And that's why I said on Sister Cluster's panel, you got a lot of these dudes want these women to be starter kit chicks, you know, build them up, clean them up while they prepare their exit strategy. Because men, when it comes to pussy, be thinking like 3-4 bodies ahead.
Yep.
3-4 bodies ahead. So it's like, okay, I'm going to have these ones in rotation. And if these two don't work out, I'm going to get 3. You know, so, you know, as much shit as these dudes talk, you know, as you said, they don't want the party to be over, because now that would mean you will have to take care of yourself. You will have to provide for yourself, and now we can judge you accordingly.
Exactly.
Judge you accordingly. And at this point, Black women really do need to sit back and evaluate. You should not be happy to be nobody's side chick. If you're not the main woman, then there is no woman.
Bingo.
You ain't the main woman, then there is no woman, because you shouldn't have to compete for another woman, especially the history and time you put into that relationship. Now you got to compete with another woman.
And Chef Disaster, because this is a solid brother right here. Chef Disaster is another solid brother that comes to this channel. We're not saying that Black men are no good. No, I would never say that all Black men are no good. Now, are there Black men out here that are making you brothers look bad? Yes. I can't lie about that.
Right. Right. And I just want to say to the chef, because Chef is a real dude. Salute to you, brother. Like when we say things about Black men, it's not to crucify Black men, because I know there's brothers out here that are real and they true to the game. It's just that the cowardly, treacherous niggas got the loudest voices right now. And there are Black women who can't keep any race of men, because when you really listen to some of these women, they got poor social skills. They have issues that they never resolve. So when they are dating other people, they think one is going to cancel out the other, and the trauma comes back. You know, some Black women are ornery. They're very difficult to get along with. You know, however, we got some brothers, no matter what you say or what you do, they're never going to be satisfied either.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I think for Black women at this point, Black women must vet any man that Black women turn an interest to. She has to properly vet those men.
Exactly.
You have to properly vet those men. You, especially in this day and age, you really have to do research. You got to be on your Perry Mason when it comes to these men. It's sad but true, because Black women have to understand that they're an investment. They're an investment. This is why I always say in my commentary, you are the prize. You are an investment. So you're going to be putting time into somebody, and somebody's going to be putting time into you.
Okay, now, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm an Aries Queen has an interesting question. He says, I can see if you're attracted to other races, but y'all sound like you're trying to save yourselves. Are y'all trying to save yourselves?
I'm not.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not.
when
I'm
you
not.
the concept of saving yourself, I don't like the whole concept of save yourself, because it's like saying something is wrong with you that you got to save yourself from. That's why I don't like the term. Me, I'm not a swirler, never have, never will be. I love black men. That's who I'm attracted to. However, I can't be upset at black women if they decide to date outside of their race. Like, if they want to expand their options, they have their right to do so. Just don't disrespect your race while doing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not about stepping outside and saying that black men ain't shit. This is why I'm going over here.
Right.
It's about going where you're loved and finding happiness. Every black woman deserves her own man. Now, the question you're trying to say is, are we trying to save ourselves? No, I'm trying to save us, sis. Because, sis, we are out here drowning. We're out here drowning in low self-esteem. We're out here drowning in desperation. And so I'm giving the sisters another option. And if you're going to call that saving yourselves or us saving ourselves, then yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm not sitting up here telling sisters to save ourselves because black men ain't shit. That's not it at all. I'm telling sisters that they don't have to go into desperate measures and lowering their self-esteem just in order to have a man or a piece of a man.
Properly vet yourself, vet these men. First off, black women have to know what they want. Know what you want, and develop a plan and getting it done. I think black women have to seek therapy in a lot of ways. There's a lot of trauma that sisters need to resolve before you date anybody. You know what I'm saying? I think we go into relationships broken and expect a fairy tale out of a broken situation.
Exactly.
Every man is capable of cheating. There ain't no man perfect. Ain't like, oh, the white man is the best man. No, because he gonna cheat on you too. He just a man. You have to be the one to know your worth and properly vet the men that you encounter.
And and I don't get angry at these type of comments, because these are the types of comments that need to be discussed. And I think this is actually a good comment that she made, because white men will cheat on us too.
Yeah.
Just like Love Wisdom said, any man probably would. Women cheat just the same. Because you have black men that white wives go out and cheat on them. Nothing is in life is guaranteed. Nothing. The same way we have to vet men within our race, we have to vet men in other races and cultures too, because we can't just trust in every man that's black that come from another culture.
Right. You have to do it. Especially if you have children, you have to properly vet the men. You have children, they're going to be seeing these children daily. You have to see the type of man that is going to come into your life, come into the life of your children. Even men that you're dating, you have to see the type of men that these men are, that they could potentially be. It's just safeguarding yourself and your sanity, as well as your children, if you have children. I just want black women to not have to keep fighting and killing themselves mentally and emotionally. Exactly. Like, you got to reprogram yourself, and you have to reset your role. You got to reset your role. You got to reset your mindset in this race and in this community. You are important, and we have to carry ourselves as such. Don't be out here, oh, the white man is so much better, Asian men are so much better. No. Never put anybody over your own. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
And
I hate that.
quiet as kept, love, wisdom. That's the reason why a lot of these interracial marriages between black men and white women don't last that long, because they're just in it due to a fetish. They haven't vetted these women. They haven't saw what type of mothers they are. This is all about a fetish, and
Yeah.
usually about, oh, I want to sock it to the black woman. And when you can't build a relationship off of that. You can't. No. That's the reason why I believe so many of their marriages end in divorce. Now, I will say, when black women do decide to couple with white men, our marriages last longer, because guess what? We see them as men. We don't see them as a fetish. We actually vet. We actually look at this man and say, you know what? He's a good provider.
Mm-hmm.
We have things in common.
Right.
But what I see with a lot of black men, I see a lot of black men getting with women, and it's not just women of other races. This is even with black women. It's always something to do with a fat butt, something physical. It has nothing to do with how good a woman she is, if she makes a good wife, is she going to be a good mother. They don't ask of those things. All they see is the physical.
Mm-hmm.
And so on down the line, when this woman turns out to be a hellion, you're sitting up here scratching your head wondering how she flipped on it.
Right. And we know men are very very visual, and they're gonna like what they like. But I even say this to the men as well. You gotta properly vet them women too. You can't say, because I've heard men say, crazy women got the best sex, and I'm like,
yeah,
crazy
but
women got the best
they get that crazy woman pregnant, and then they want to complain.
Yeah, so it's like, you can't complain about what you entertain. You gotta vet these women too, fellas, because some of these women, they a headache in the bill. You gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful just as much as the women. Some of these men is a heartbreak and stress. You have to be careful with the people that come into your life. You are an investment.
Absolutely. And shout out to Chef Disaster for the $5 super chat. He says, black women in America have been led astray from black men. So the issue is not physical, it's more mental. Interesting.
That's an interesting point. And I do agree with Chef Disaster about that to a degree, that I think this happened it's like a lot of things happen like in the 60s and 70s. Like when you really start to see like the breakaway when it comes to the black family and marriage, because there was so much stuff that was going on. You had brothers fighting in Vietnam, brothers, on the front lines. And then, you also had drugs coming into the black community by way of the Sicilians. Then old Tricky Dicky started the war on drugs, and you kind of seen the big decline of the black family. So when you had black men in jail, you took all the jobs away from him, and he's a shell of his former self. And then what happens? When you subdue the warrior class, now we're going to work on the women. Now we're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you stuff we didn't give you before. And the thing about it is, when it comes to a black woman, what choice does she have? Because if she say no to welfare, well, her husband not working and kids got to eat. So exactly. she got to make a decision. And what happens is, mentally, what the government decided to do is make the black woman to a certain degree dependent upon the government for everything. Yes. And then what the government turned around and did was, well, we're going to give you some perks, and we're going to make you head of household. We're going to make you rulers and masters of the home, because we done stripped the black man of his, we don't give a damn. We're going to make him a pimp. We're going to call him Superfly. We're going to do all this shit. We're going to let him do what he do, and we're going to focus on you. So I do agree with Chef Disaster. The puppet master himself is going to always be playing at the helm. And I think for Black women, I want brothers to understand, Black women didn't do that on purpose.
Exactly.
That was really out of survival. It really was out of survival. And what happens is the survival became a generational thing. It's devastating what this country has done to Black men and Black women, pitting Black men and Black women against each other, literally. Like even right now in the media, who's on the face of Rolling Stone magazine leading a revolution? Black women. This is why I tell Black men, listen, don't be disrespecting your women and calling her all kinds of names because she's always on the front line. You don't think for 1 second the media is not going to play on that and make y'all seem like a bunch of cowards? Like,
listen, here's the thing though. Black men, they've come to how can I say, what's the word where a person kind of has a anger towards you because they're what's the word? Oh goodness, I'm having a brain fart today, y'all.
Hostility?
It's not hostility, but you know, it's just like when the man has to look for the woman for his bread and butter because he's not being allowed to provide for his family, you know, he does feel powerless. And I want Black men to know that Black women have always peeped this. We know that they stripped you of your power. We've known this ever since slavery. And we've never held it against you.
Right.
But you hold the power that was thrust upon us against us. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. You sit here and you hold against the Black woman the power that was thrust upon her. We did not ask.
Certainly, we didn't ask for that. I don't think any Black woman, you'll talk to any Black woman now, she don't want to be on the front lines. Like, Black women would really rather be in the house taking care of kids. Like, they don't want all of this stuff. Like, to y'all, that may be, oh yeah, they want to be all this. But deep down inside, Black women don't want to, they don't want this. But this is something that has been thrust on them, not by any choice of their own.
Exactly.
This is all done, brothers, out of survival. This is really done out of survival.
And Chef Disaster again with the $2 super chat says, I can say that Black men haven't fought for the role.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of disagree with that because now Black men, you guys were out there trying to be entrepreneurs. You were trying to carve your own niche. And in doing that, you were fighting. I can acknowledge that you guys were out there fighting. So I won't say that you weren't because you were. You built quite a few towns as a result of it. And it once again, because you were being hated on by the inferior class, because they're really inferior class men. They saw you rising up to power and they stopped you. They hated on you. Right. I want you guys to know that we've been peeping this. This is the reason why you got the most race loyal women in the world, because we know how powerful you are.
Tell it, sis. Tell it. And this is why we get so passionate. You know, we get so passionate about it because we know what you guys are about. Like, we know what the system is doing to y'all. We know that. We know that. We've been, like Sister Faith said, we've been peeping this. Our mother's been peeping this. However, at some point, brothers, you got to reclaim your spot. You got to reclaim your spot. You really have to. Because it is looking bad out here. It's looking bad. And you got to reclaim your spot. You got to show the whole world that you got this, that you like you're not going to sit back and continue to let this happen to your people. Because what's happening now with your woman is going to level that playing field, whether you like it or not. Because now She's not looking at you as, you know, someone that she can trust. Now she's looking at men outside like, well, shit, I'm about to start expanding my options. They expand their options all the time. Why can't I? Why can't I be happy? And sisters have that mindset, and now brothers is like, ho, 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 ho. You can't do that. Like hell I can, because you've been doing it. So now it's no longer the guilt trip. It's really like, damn it, if you want to sample all 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins, so am I. What's good for the geese is going to be good for the gander. If I'm going to show you that I am attractive and I am desired just like you, that's what's going on right now. I'm going to show you.
Exactly. Because you said that we weren't, and you said that we couldn't. And when you tell somebody they can't do something, that makes them want to even more prove that they can.
Right. Because now, oh, well, black women are overweight. Well, brothers, that's true to a degree. We are dealing with obesity problems, but you do know obesity comes from stress. That comes from stress. Okay? And why not celebrate the women that are in the gym?
But see, here's the thing, and I hate to oh, welcome to the panel, Chef Disaster.
Hey, Chef.
How you doing?
Good.
I just want to do a sound check real quick. How to sound?
You sound great.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, y'all having a great conversation. Great conversation, for real. That's Love Wisdom, right?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, Love Wisdom?
I'm doing
How you doing,
good,
Faith?
brother.
I'm doing
My
good.
bad. I should have addressed the host first. My bad.
No, Love Wisdom been tearing it up. I ain't even mad at you.
Facts on that. Facts. So the role I was talking about, I wasn't talking about the financial role. I was talking about, like, I don't know about yours. We may have difference of opinion, but when I grew up, white boys always assumed that role of dating white women. They let it be known that those are the women of their choice. Those are the women they putting on that pedestal, and there's no other. Now, I mean, it doesn't go for every black man, but black men have like sort of cowered to the power that has been given to black women and immediately started stepping out and dating other races. And I don't like to use celebrities and stuff like that because that doesn't make up our culture, our main being. But it is an example that makes what I'm saying, easy to explain. A lot of the sports players, or even actors for that matter, they always get a white woman on their arm when they get famous.
True.
So that's the role I'm talking about. The role of we are only for black women.
And I can agree with that. I can agree with that because, like, as soon as we get any type of power or success or any type of money, we always relinquish that power over back into the hands of white people, and that does kind of piss me off a little bit. So you're right about that.
It kind of reminds me of what Nick Cannon said in the interview with Rizza Islam, how he was talking about white women are seen as a trophy. They are seen as success tools. So when a black man in entertainment, in sports, when he's with a white woman, that's his sign of success. And that always disturbed me because these are the same women that get these men set up to be killed, set up to put all the wealth back into the white communities. Why not have a black woman on your side where that wealth can stay in the community or at least stay with your family? Why isn't blackness the pinnacle of success, especially given the fact that our ancestors built this country? Why isn't that success?
Exactly. And then also, black men, they sit up here and they say that when they are with a white woman, they're making black children. But then if a black woman is with a white man, isn't she also making black children? Hmm?
I would think so if that's the way they're going to put it out there.
So, there's always that double standard as well. And I always wondered about that because they always say Black women are making children that we're in competition with. But at the same time, they don't see the mixed men that they're making, the Steph Currys that they're putting out here,
The Jesse Williams.
the light-skinned Black men that they make fun of.
Yeah. Because even, when Jesse Williams made the speech, I think at the BET Awards about Black women, oh, he's not a Black man, he's mixed. And it's like, well,
Disaster fell off. Come back, Chef. Come back.
come on, Chef. Jesse Williams is Black, is biracial, but Alicia Keys is Black.
Right.
Both of them are biracial. So it's kind of like, for biracial women, they can be Black because it doesn't make a lot of these dudes feel like a sellout. They got the best of both worlds. However, when it comes to a biracial boy, nah, you mixed. Nah, you mix. So it's always that double standard that's disturbing to me. And Chef bring up a very good point. You with the white girls, is like, why can't the standard be a Black woman? Why can't that be a Black woman? What's wrong with a Black woman?
And more to the point of why I came out with a lot of the statistics and the studies that I came out with, I want us to use these statistics, the way that other groups of people do here, and try to use it to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have a low marriage rate, then the solution is that we probably need to promote marriage.
Yes.
Not pump and dump.
Yes.
If we have a high out of wedlock rate, then we need to promote marriage, not pump and dump.
Mm-hmm.
If there are 5 or 6 Black women to 1 Black man, we probably need to encourage Black women to expand options. And I'm not even being biased or hypocritical when I say that Black men don't really have a need to expand options, because we're looking at the numbers and we're looking at Black women do have a need, Black men don't.
Right.
And Black men can keep it Black, and we can expand our numbers if Black men would keep it Black. And Black women can keep it Black too by dating within, other cultures of Black people first. So we can go Black first, but if we find love outside of Black, like I said, I wouldn't be angry. But we should always think Black first.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. I think that Black men allow their Black women to be proud, poked upon by all races of men, more than any other race of men. And that's the protection that, and that's again with the role I'm talking about, that's the thing that Black men don't step up and make sure that that's protected from the top to the bottom. When you look at it at the lowest level, when you take prostitution and you bring it into this conversation, white men aren't selling off young white girls. They're going to get other races of men and they're selling those. Black men will sell Black women.
Facts.
Because
the sex trafficking, and I was going to do it's so funny you brought that up, Kenny, because that was going to be a next panel for me. But I found out that the face of sex trafficking is not the white woman. That is a distraction. They made the face of sex trafficking a white woman because they didn't want these little white girls going to jail for prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Most sex trafficking victims are African women and girls. And most of the people selling them into that sex trafficking industry are none other than Black men and some Black African men too.
Yes.
And
Right. So then,
I'm going to do a whole show on it because I got a lot of material on that information. I'm not going to put it all out here, but I just wanted to put that out there because when little black girls are, how can I say, rescued from sex trafficking, if you want to call it rescue, because they're actually being arrested for prostitution, they call them prostitutes. They don't look at these girls as victims. So a lot of black girls who are sitting up in jail who were victims of sex trafficking, they end up doing large amounts of time in jail because they're being labeled as prostitutes. And that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Chef.
And if you look at it at the higher level, if you take it to the higher level and you say, economically, the white women are protected by the white race of men because white men aren't allowing other races of men to get next to their women, starting at the college level. They put their kids in colleges that other races of men can't afford to put their children in. They have systematically set the system up to where black men can't get to the upper echelon of these women.
Exactly.
So they get protection on a higher level. It's up to the black men to do the same thing. We have that ability. I think we just said, fuck it. I'm sorry.
No,
I think that we said, well, they did this to us and we easily gave up the fight.
Absolutely. Welcome to the stream, Q Savage. This is another brother that's an upstanding brother.
Hey, good evening, ladies. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening.
This the problem I try to figure out. Now, back in the 60s, the majority of the riots that was started was because of police beating on black women. Like, perfect example, like when I'm at in Philly, the Columbia Street, the Columbia Ave riots back in the 60s was all started because a white man cracked his nightstick on a black woman's head, destroyed the whole street. Now you gotta ask yourself, how did it come for that? If you beat up one black woman on the block, we destroy the whole neighborhood. So how did it go from that to that? I mean, what type? I'm trying to figure out what type of level of respect. How did both people fall so low? Meaning for the fact that why the stuff like that? Because we got a track record. We do have a track record of showing that we do go out for y'all. It's proven already.
What's up, Q Savage? Just to tackle that issue. I know it's always good to have our black women cape for us, but black women should have never been there in the first place. Historically, again, when you look at wars in America, revolutions, revolts, whatever, however you look at it, white men are fighting those battles. White women don't come until later, until the cleanup, where there's no violence.
No, I'm not saying about the battles. I mean, for the whole situation started. The majority of them riots were started by regular black women just minding their own business, just doing regular stuff they normally do. Police harass them. They do something to them. The black men step up, and it's a riot on. It's a riot jumping off.
Yeah, we are long way from that now.
Yeah, and then you gotta ask yourself how to become from that to that.
That's a good question. How we come from coming together as a community to now where it's like, if something were to happen to a sister, it's kind of like, well, what did the whole do? You know what? That's a very great question because I would like to know.
I don't even remember. I remember what he's talking about. I remember there was a time where we were protected.
Yes.
Because I remember when I got my first job when I was like 16, I worked at Wendy's and I worked around a bunch of Arabs and, different races of guys in downtown Chicago. And, the men would all be standing outside the Wendy's, smoking, on their break. And so sometimes a lot of us will have to walk through, the whole pack of them to, get inside to start our shift. And so the black guys, you know, they be standing out there, they see the pretty girls, you know how the guys do, they catcall. And so one day, this Arabian chick that worked up there with me, she was walking up there, and the black men were catcalling her, and hey, oh, look at that. You know how our guys do. And do you know those Arabian men wanted to tear their necks off for saying something to that Arabian woman?
Right. Great point, Faith. Great point. And I'm just gonna piggyback off that a little bit. It goes like this. When you go into when a black woman goes into, you know, the corporate field, she more than likely, when she's getting interviewed, she's going to be interviewed by a white man. Now, if that white man's giving her a raise, giving her promotion, putting food on the table, and I'm not saying he's literally doing that, but he's providing her with the ability to do that. So she's kind of, now she's like looking at him like he's a good guy. But in lies the problem, the white man has never seen the black man as anything good. So now the black woman is like, I don't gotta listen to this nigga. He can't even provide, and this white man is allowing me to provide for my family, and all he doing is tearing me down. All he's doing is giving me babies and leaving me. All he's doing is killing himself. So then, as the numbers, like you stated with this stream, when you look at the numbers, that's what it's going to give you. It's going to give you that you have to go to a better option, because that's what the economy is saying for you to do. And that's how we get to that point to where a black man is saying, well, what did that hoe do? Because the black woman has already been looking at the black man like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, I think that over time there has been resentment building up on both ends.
Yeah.
Because black men have been resenting black women because we have been given the opportunity to be independent of them. And black women have been sort of, what was the word I just used? Oh my God, my head. We've been resenting black men because we feel like they haven't been able to take care of us, and we see other women being cared for, like Chef Disaster said, and their men are able to, do things for us, and our men can't. And so there's a resentment that builds up over time.
Right, and that's why I love the point that you use in the numbers. I mean, you can't get no better than factual than the numbers.
Right.
If you look at the numbers, historically, that's what's being done. It's not the black woman's fault. Absolutely not. I mean, you have to accredit her for being a chameleon and being resilient and still holding the black man to a high standard. Not as much as it should be, but it still is high standard for the black man in a black community. Right. We just don't live up to it.
Exactly.
See, this the problem. Hello.
No, go ahead, Kim.
Yeah. See, this the issue I used to have with some debates with black women. That's why the ones that used to brag a lot. They used to brag about how they the most educated, that and the third. Then I ask one question: if you're the most educated, then who should be the most educated children by default? Just by default, who should be the most educated children? If you're the most educated woman, which is the first teacher, then who should be the most educated children?
Well, see, hold on, Q. We weren't always the most educated, though. See, black women, and this is what I want guys to pay attention to. Pay attention to the timeline, because there was a point where we wasn't the most educated, and then all of a sudden, somebody called Bill Clinton got into office. And he did a thing called welfare reform. And what that did was that forced black women to either work or go to school in order to get that welfare check. Right. So you have a whole generation of black women now who are educated as a result of Bill Clinton's welfare reform. And so now, whereas we wasn't the most educated and our children were living in poverty and had a lot of parents who were also not as educated, our children were failing academically. But now there's a 2014 study that says that children living with two parents and a single mother are B students. And I think that that is a direct result of Black women becoming more educated. Our children are now doing better in school.
Right.
Great point.
Right.
Well, when it comes to like education, I mean, most people, well, you gotta realize most Black people, well, back in the day, well, most Black men, they was most self-educated anyway. And I met a whole lot of Black women that are, the majority of them that I met, they didn't go to school. They worked like 2 or 3 jobs, and they pretty much self-taught by everything they know. That the ones that just go to the library, just pick up things just to read. That, I mean, that's a form of education itself, just being self-educated. So, as I said, they always had a history of being educated. I mean, you ain't got to go to school to be educated.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, go ahead.
I also know, and this is like I said, everybody can have different opinions, but I also know I have not ran across in my life personally. I have not ran across illiterate women more than I have ran across illiterate men. And I say that because Black men were more likely to go work in a factory job. That was their end game. There was no further than that. That's what was being presented to them. They accepted that. Again, we have to start owning our own responsibility. It's not that the Black woman was smarter than us. We settled for what it was that was on our plate. And that's the drug dealing. That's the factory jobs. That's no job for that matter. You know what I'm saying? We allowed ourselves to become uneducated.
And also to piggyback off your point and off of Love Wisdom's point that she made earlier, Black women were given opportunities that Black men were not afforded. While they were giving us jobs and then later on paying for us to go to school because we had children, Black men were being sent to jail. So while we're being educated, Black men are going to jail. Black men did not have the same opportunity that we had to become educated. And so when I see sisters rubbing the fact that we are educated in our brothers' faces, I don't think that we realize that our brothers did not get a free ride like a lot of us got.
Right. And
Well,
I think it's disrespectful that some sisters do that, because as Faith says, you got to look at the timeline at what happened when it comes to Black men and Black women, how Black women were put in a better position than Black men. When they was putting Black men in jail for the war on drugs, we're not talking about 18 months. You still got Black men in jail since 1993, and it's 2020 over weed. Okay, so when these men come out of jail, there is no rehabilitation programs for them to get jobs and to take care of their families. So for Black men, it continues to trickle down. For us Black women, it keeps rising up. So I do feel as though for some women to brag about, we the most educated, I'm in this and I'm in that, you're not being considerate of when it comes to your men, what happened to them. But also for the men, to Chef Disaster's point, for some of the men, they accepted whatever was on the plate. They didn't try to upgrade either, because now I don't have a good education. The factory jobs, the automotive jobs are gone, especially in the 80s with the big 3 in Detroit. But I got this cocaine though. I got this crack. I got this money that's making me $5,000 per day. And that also devastated the community as well, with absentee fathers, brothers with no education, because that drug money was making brothers hand over fist.
And here's another thing that black men here in America, and I'm a black man. I love being black. I'm not bashing black men, but we have to own our responsibility. We've broken the biggest racial barrier in the world, for that matter. But in America, we tore it down when our sports, of our ability, allowed us to go to these colleges and play in these leagues. They had no choice but to let us in after those black athletes broke those barriers. We never took advantage of that as black men. Those barriers were broken down a long time for us to educate ourselves and become something. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was there. Shout out to the Jackie Robinsons, to have to go through that gruesome baseball career that he did, but now look, full of black athletes. And I'm not saying that's the model, but I'm saying there lied the opportunity to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And we never took full advantage of it. We just off ability alone, we were allowed to go to colleges that we were never allowed to go to. We were sought after. And how many squandered opportunities have black men gave up? If you look at the numbers, how many of them lost scholarship? How many of them lost it for the stupidest things?
Yeah.
The end game don't have to be the pros if you go there off your ability. The end game is to get your education and turn it back on them because they only wanted you there for your abilities. But you should get educated.
All right. So, shout out to not to cut you off, but I see Stefan Moultrie is here, and he is actually the person that inspired this live stream today. Hi, Stefan. He says you ain't the most educated now, and he also says 2 parents and a single mother. Who are you talking about, Stefan? Are you talking about me?
I mean, 2 parents and a single mother, that's another big misconception that's going around in the community, that somehow, single mothers, are the worst. And, these kids are failing because of single mother homes. And that's not true. Single parenthood, that's a case by case basis. Because.
And Stefan, if you want to take the link, you can come up here and, just tell us what's on your mind. Because like I said, you had a lot to say in the comment section. And any questions that you have, I will be more than happy to go in depth with you here.
You have, was LeBron James born into a single family home? And look at LeBron now. You have people who grew up in single homes who turn out to be upstanding people. You got people brought up in 2 family households and end up being in jail. For example, in my old neighborhood, you had 2 boys and they had 2 parents. The parents was married for like 20 years, salt of the earth, hardworking mother and father. That didn't stop their 2 sons from going to jail.
Exactly.
It didn't stop that from happening. And these 2, their mother and father, those boys couldn't have want for nothing. And that father was a man's man. Okay? That didn't stop their 2 sons from going to jail. One did 5 years, one did 3 on some BS. You know what I mean? But
I'm sorry, but like I said earlier, I crunched the numbers and I did the studies on this. And right now, the recent studies are showing that Black women who are single mothers and children who come from 2-parent households, those are the Black children that are B students. Yeah. Actually, the children who grow up in households where they're raised by the single father or a different guardian, they are C students. So it don't have anything to do with a single mother. It has everything to do with the parent, if they have a support system, how that child is being raised. Because you have a lot of white women who are also single mothers, but their children aren't suffering like our children because they do have a support system and stable home environments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I said that before in one of my other live streams when I said all Black families matter. So it don't have anything to do about single mother, two-parent home, single father home, grandparent-led home. You know, as long as the home is a home where the child can be raised in a good environment where they can flourish, the child will flourish.
Yes.
I know a lot of single mothers who have been successful at raising good, successful children who contribute back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you have to ask yourself, for these single mothers, yes, we can hold Black women accountable for their choices and men, but we got to keep it real with the men. Like, some of these men got to be called out for being absentee fathers, you know, and that's been going on since the 60s as well. So when we talk about absentee fathers, no, some of these brothers need to come up and say, why did you abandon your child? Why did you walk out on your children? Why didn't you take care of your children? Because the single mothers are taking care of those children. The single mothers haven't turned their back on the community. It's the Papa was a Rolling Stone, wherever he laid his hat was his home daddy who decided not to be in that child's life. And brothers cannot keep deflecting and playing this game of ping pong to where it's like, well, it's the single mother's fault. Well, where's the father? It takes two to create a baby. So where's the father who was not there? And the effect that it has on that child's life, that their father was not there.
Right. I think there's an underlying problem in the structure of the Black community as far as the men go. If you don't know what the problem is, or you don't accept what the problem is, you can't have progress. So if you know that the system is set up statistically, wouldn't it be in your best interest to make sure you and your loved ones do not become that statistic? Because if they build jails, statistically, people have to go in those jails.
Mm-hmm.
And when you individualize the problem, when you say it's a single mother or a single parent problem, you lose. You always have to go with the numbers.
Exactly.
You always have to go with the facts. And you always have to make sure that if you're going to be a statistic, make sure you're the right statistic.
Right.
And statistically, they tell you in high school, they tell you statistically, this amount of kids are going to graduate. This amount of kids are going to go to college. They're telling you that. It's your thing to get your child in that right statistic and not the wrong one. It's not a single parent thing.
Exactly.
If you're going to allow it to happen, there's places for your child if you don't tend to them.
Right.
And statistically, it's set up for that. They have to go into these foster kids. They have to go into, sex trafficking. That's what it's built off of. It's designed that way.
And that's why I keep saying we have to look at these statistics and we have to see the problem areas so that we can know what our next move is.
Right? Absolutely, Faith.
If our children are going into the system and then we notice that a lot of our children are being adopted by white parents, that's a problem.
Huge problem.
Right.
Huge problem. Because when you look at it, white people, the perceived notion is they can provide them with stability. They have the wealth. So that child is not going to go hungry. They have the resources to put these children into the best schools. It made me think about, what's that movie? The Blind Side. You have this young man who lives in the hood, and this rich white family just comes and swoops him up You know, and he's going to old Mississippi being taken care of by this white family. You know, and what happens is that child is indebted to that family because of what that family did for them.
Exactly. It's,
You know
it's
what I mean?
almost like what Chef Disaster was saying about how black women look at white men as the hero because he give her a job or a promotion or, you know, government assistance. That child is going to look at those white parents as being his hero.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you look now, like even if you look now when you talk about like men who, you know, black kids admire, a lot of times these are white people that they're saying that, you know, they admire. You know, and that's sad because there are, you know, black men that have done tremendous work. But what happens is what's put in front of them? White. Oh my God, look what Bill Gates is doing. Oh, look at what Larry Bird is doing. Look at what these white people are doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't see an example of what a black man is doing. Or they might say Michael Jordan, right? They might say the late Kobe Bryant, but 9 out of 10 is always somebody white in their ear about this is someone who's doing something great, it's someone that's doing good. And that does put a bad taste in brothers' mouths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, children, you know, white children, when you ask them who they admire, white, 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 white. Asian person, let's say Chinese, it's a slew of Chinese people that they admire. You know, you can admire whoever you want, but we should tie that racially first so that
But
children
here's
can
the
see an
problem.
example to themselves.
Love, wisdom. Here's the problem. We sit up here and we wait on white people to give us our heroes to look up to them. Like
Right.
we sit up here and we actually waited for Disney to give us a black princess.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
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 Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we always got to say, well, what do the numbers support? Like if you basically put a blindfold over your educated child, you know, his mind, take racism out of it, and you tell him to look at the numbers and ask him, and he's educated. Remember, who do you want to work for? The
Right.
numbers, and so the problem, you can fix that because you can change those numbers. We choose not to do nothing about it, like you just said. We
Bingo.
choose not to do anything about it.
But Chef Disaster, not only that, but look at this. Like, okay, we sit up here and we have been supporting this Democratic Party for what, 50 or more years? And they have done nothing but give us these handouts that don't really make us self-sufficient as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Peep this, because I'm gonna tie this into what you just said, Chef Disaster, about how we don't do nothing about our own problem. We have a choice now. Here it is, Trump then set up here and he opened up these opportunity zones before this whole coronavirus hit. Now, opportunity zones also includes business funding in urban areas, which are primarily Black communities.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is running and getting this business funding?
I would say Hispanic immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I would say white people.
Mm-hmm. Who would you say ain't even checking for it?
Our
Black people.
Yeah. And the opportunity zone money was for us. Only a handful of Black people in urban opportunity zones even try to get the opportunity zone grant funding to start businesses, and it's there. Especially now with this whole corona thing, it's still there.
Yeah.
Don't do nothing about it. Nothing. We can have our own image. Just the numbers don't never say, well, it's 500 barbershop workers hiring black people. Let's forget we don't even give the opportunities to even be on the board. Our businesses are not even they're non-factors because we're not behind them. You have to walk before you crawl. We haven't even. I mean, you have to crawl before you walk. We haven't even crawled right yet, as far as business. We don't get behind each other, and I'm not even black women. Black women get behind each other. If there's an example to look at, it is the black woman, as far as black economics.
Yeah, because right now we're kicking butt as far as black businesses go.
Right.
Yeah.
We got so many talented brothers out here that's not taking advantage of this funding. And I'm telling you that opportunity zone money, look into your community and check into the opportunity zone funding. Especially now where you can buy businesses and property cheap. You can break into your own thing easily now. Easily.
I'm gonna look into that myself, definitely. This is the first time I ever heard of that, though.
Check into it, because I tell you one thing: these Mexicans, Hondurans, and Guatemalans, they are certainly taking advantage of these opportunity zones, business loans, you name it. You know, they little landscaping business taking off, their little home remodel, it's taking off.
But I am happy to say I do see a sprinkling of brothers out here in Arizona. There's a brother that just opened a restaurant up out here. He did it before the whole COVID thing jumped off. His restaurant's been open for about 2 years now, and he took advantage of the opportunity zone funding. So, you know, like I said, we can't let these other groups get a hold of funding that was meant for us. When Trump signed that bill for opportunity zones, he put it in predominantly poor Black areas and Hispanic areas because he wanted minority groups like Black people and Hispanic people to have an opportunity to have businesses in their own communities. That's what it is for. But instead, we got Ling Ling running to get it. And we got the Arabs running to get it, the Jews running to get it. And it's going to be known pretty soon.
Yeah. Because let's just say, for example, Joe Biden gets the presidency. He already said when he becomes president, he's going to make DACA a permanent thing. So all of the opportunities that could be going to us, those opportunities are going to be done. You know, so I always believe strike while the iron is hot. You know, if you have a business idea, if you have a plan and you want to implement it, take advantage of, you know, of what's there in front of you, because you may not have that opportunity.
Exactly.
You know, and I agree with Chef. Like we tend to complain a lot, but then we don't get things done. And to Faith's point about the Democratic Party, I mean, let's be honest, we have been loyal to that party and we have gotten nothing in return. They have given us the crime bill, the Voting Rights Act, where I think we have to vote on it like every 30 years or something like that. If not, we can lose that. The Democrats have given us nothing. You know, and we don't want to vote Republican. My thing has always been politics is a game, and everybody is a pawn on the chessboard. People take what they need and throw the rest away.
And here's the thing, you know, and I hate to sound like I'm an advocate for Trump. I don't particularly care for Trump as a person. Let me just put that out there. I would not be friends with Trump. Okay? But I don't look at whether or not I like Trump. I look at his policies. Now, because of Trump, historically Black colleges no longer have to go every year to ask for funding. Trump actually signed a bill into law where historically Black colleges automatically get funding. And that was something that Obama should have done. So,
Right.
when I start comparing the Democrats to what Trump is doing, and like I said, I don't even give the Republicans any type of credit either. I give it all to Trump because he's the one that's actually over here doing it. And he didn't have to because he didn't win the presidency by getting the black vote, by the way. He didn't win the presidency by getting the black vote. But yet we're getting a lot of tangible benefits having him in office.
Right.
So I may not like him as a person, but he gonna get my vote because I see what he's doing, these opportunity zones. And then he passed the first crime bill that addressed and offset that 3 strikes rule that Joe Biden wrote, by the way. He wrote it and he won't even apologize for it.
That Oscar-worthy C-SPAN performance, putting that crime bill up here that has black men in jail like it's nobody's business. And I don't think people really understand how devastating that still is to this day. Like, you literally have generations that's in jail. And that's another factor to Sister Faith's point about the lower numbers of black men and how critical that means for black women. Because you got a lot of these brothers between 18 and 35, 40, which is like the prime years. Those men are in jail. And when they come out, they're literally starting at zero.
Exactly.
Zero. So,
and that's why it's so important, because entrepreneurship, especially for guys coming out of jail, is so important. That's the reason why these opportunity zones are important. Now, if Trump continues to fund opportunity zones, that's something that would make me hurry up and run to the ballot and vote for him. Especially if he gears it towards helping people. Actually, he did help a lot of people that's coming out of jail, black people coming out of jail, start businesses, by the way, with that opportunity zone grant.
And I also believe too that for brothers coming out, because this happened to my brother when he came out of jail. I said, well, you know what? I think, why don't you start with your hands? Because my brother likes to fix stuff. So he went to, we have in New Jersey called Lincoln Tech. It's like a hands-on for automotive HVAC. You get your baller's license. He's working for an HVAC company now, making money. So I also think for black men, those that are coming out of jail, or those who, they don't want to go to college, go get a trade, because you make a lot of money in trade. Those white boys is killing it with those apprenticeships. Welders, HVAC technicians, boiler technicians, roofers. There was a time where brothers was very good with their hands and they was getting those jobs. Go to getting a trade, 8 or 9 months. Some of these schools will even get you a job.
Yes.
When you can make 55, 60,000 a year, I think it's very important for brothers to look into that, because of people saying STEM, STEM, STEM. I have nothing against STEM. People have to understand there's a lot of years that have to be put into STEM.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you can get into a trade, you get your CDL and become a trucker. Get into a trade that's going to give you some money where you're not have to sit up here and break your back.
And then the military will also teach you trade.
Yeah. Yeah. There are plenty of, I think brothers believe that they're limited to what they can do. But actually, if you really sit back and think of it, no, you're not. There's a lot of things that you can do, especially with the trade, entrepreneurship, and even with the military, like Sister Faith said. There's a lot of things that you can do. You don't necessarily have to go to college. Now, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, with that's a requirement, yes. But you don't need to go to college to be an electrician. You don't need that. but you make a lot of money in those fields. Hell,
Right.
even sanitation workers make good money. Don't sleep on them sanitation workers.
Right.
So
I mean, we let a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I mean, as a black community, we let a lot of business opportunities pass right by us. Like when you look at the, I'm gonna just use the car wash because it employed a lot of black men, even without education. But we've never owned those businesses that we worked for. If you look at the Mexican, they started out cutting the grass.
Yes.
Now they own the business.
Yes.
Now, when you look at every business opportunity as a whole, what opportunity has black people taken? Did we own the laundromats? Did we own the cleaners? The gas stations? We let those pass right by us. That's not to say stay there in those opportunities, but those are the opportunities that open the doors up for other opportunities, and we've never taken advantage of it.
But that's the thing, though. We didn't have the money. We couldn't get the business funding. But here, you know, opportunity zones, these opportunity zones are for minorities. That's the reason why I'm banging on this real hard and putting the word out. And, and we're not gobbling up this money. Once again, we're letting the opportunity slip away.
Right. Because one thing I will say about the Mexicans, like they will play the game. They will play the game. And not only do they have DACA on their side, all of the things that come along with it.
Yes.
You know, they own car washes. They own landscaping businesses, remodeling. They own, they got that stuff on lock. They damn near kicked the white boys out of that.
I mean, I mean, not to cut you off, but to stop patronizing the Mexicans. They also the biggest snitches on the planet too.
Oh, thank you, Q Savage. Oh my God.
So before you start praising the Mexicans, remember they some of the biggest snitches out there.
No. Don't misunderstand. I'm not giving them credit at all. I'm telling you, they know how to play the game. That's not giving them.
I'll backbite too. If I'm getting extra if I'm getting extra Scooby snacks, I'll backbite too.
Yeah, of course, Alejandro the biggest snitch to get what he wants. You know, I know that.
I see them single-handedly go out of their way to set black people up so that they get friends and family members foot in the door. So he's right about that.
Yeah, no, brother is definitely on point with that. I'm telling you, they know how to play the game, and we need to start playing the game too.
This is why I talk with the older black guy, and us black men, especially the ones that's in the hood, we know what the situation is. But the problem like this, we know blood gonna have to get shed. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ain't gonna be no peaceful. Let's all get along. It's gonna be. I mean, it's too much bad blood, too much long history. The life that black women or black men say they really want, blood gonna have to get shed because this country has not been built on peaceful, loving, trees. Just the same way. Because I asked myself, I live in Philadelphia, and now if they drafted the Constitution at Fifth and Chestnut, but yet they selling slaves right behind it in the next block on Southern Walnut. So for a person like me, already, that's how I see how it is already. And plus, for the fact is that I remember when they did the Million Man March, I heard that what they had for black brothers just for coming in, just for a peaceful march. We had the stuffed bomber, we had 20,000 troops on standby, we had F-14 jets on standby.
Yep.
Just for peaceful, just for atonement to say I did wrong. This is what we get.
Yep.
So I tell any black folks, the life that you want, believe me, they coming. You're going against a $1 trillion army that wants you dead. Okay? They don't want another Black Wall Street. You want that Black Wall Street? You better have a state. You better go to the Chinese, get a state-of-the-art missile system, and learn how to build the guns too.
Facts.
So all these people. So and plus I say black women. I say and sisters, Y'all number one consumers y'all number one consumers in the country. For us to black men to come up, that means that y'all gonna have to start purchasing from us. It may not be the best quality at that time, but it will get better. But the only way y'all gonna come up is that we're gonna start producing products that y'all gonna have to buy.
I got no problem with that. Right now, even my laundry detergent that I buy right now is from a brother. It's called True Detergent, and there's a website. You can order it if it's not sold in the stores near you. But that is a brother's company.
Yeah,
like Faith. You know my situation. Well, my situation going on. I can't tell my being what to do. She worked for the state, so pretty much her disrespect is all the way 1,000. I wish I could employ her, but I can't. So
yeah, you do have.
I remember you telling us about that.
And the good news is you do have you have black entrepreneurship now where we're seeing a shift where you're starting to see black people buy more black. Darren's Coffee. If you go to We Buy Black, it's like a website with black owned things from shampoo to clothing. So the good news is that we are seeing more businesses being poured into black businesses. Now the question is, can we keep that momentum going?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it comes to sisters with the weave, sisters are going online getting their weave from black women. Sisters are getting their hair products and skincare products from black women, but we got to keep the momentum going, because the thing about it is, what happens is we don't want another situation with Carol's daughter where L'Oreal comes in and just buys it.
Yeah.
Because see, that's what they also do as well. When they start to see that your business is getting popular by other black people, well, I got a check for you for maybe $1.3 billion.
And then we sell out. We
sell out.
Black business legacy.
It happened to Bevel. Right. It happened to Shea Moisture.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to the Main Choice. We're seeing a lot of these black-owned businesses that was, that their consumer base was black. But then when the white folks come in with that check, we quickly, we're going to sign on the bottom line. And what happens is it's a black face, but the company is no longer black. So when we think we're supporting black businesses, we're really supporting big conglomerates. That's, that's what we got to be careful with. And to the brother, what's your name from Philadelphia?
Q Savage, Quincy.
So to Brother Quincy's point, we got to keep that momentum going with buying it from each other. But what responsibility do we put on the owners for them not to be tempted to get that big check?
Right. I think America has always been a conglomerate, has always been a monopoly, and it's going to operate like that no matter what until the system breaks. And I always believe that we can't say we're going to fight for certain things and bloodshed when you watch them this year while we're in trillions of dollars of debt make up money out of thin air. You watch them do that.
Thank you.
And the other thing too is you have to sell the value of building a community. See, the reason why a lot of these people go for the big check is because they're not looking at the long run and the big picture for the community. Mm-hmm. And so if people don't value the community, they're going to always go after the big check because they're not looking years, hundreds of years down the road. White people look hundreds of years down the road, even after they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at what's best for community, for their people. We don't look out for our people in our community. We have to start valuing the community. And then we'll start seeing more business owners holding on to their businesses and linking up with other business owners.
Absolutely.
Right.
And as it's more easier to get the funds and the funds are made more regularly available, let's see, the ball's in our court. It's so much more progress than I'd say 20 years ago. And that's in our lifetime. That's in each generation. '80s, '90s, and the 2000s for us to see progress and to see what we're doing with the opportunities.
Right. Because I think
And now it's even. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now I'm saying now it's even more available. That's all I was going to say. That.
Yeah, I think in spite of everything that has been thrown at us, this generation, I think we're coming out fairly good. There's a shift in mentality and how we move. It's just that we got to iron out some of these kinks and tie up some of these loose ends. Because we got the intellect, we got the creativity, we damn sure got the strength and the stamina to really get this done. And I think for us, just like with Black Wall Street, Wilmington, North Carolina, Rosewood, Florida, the reason why it took us a short period of time, because coming off the plantation, we were the masons, we were the builders, so we knew what to do. We kind of lost that, but we can get that back. And I think for me that I would call it a generational reset, where when it comes to the children, what are we going to raise our children to be that's going to be a benefit for our race down the road? Because just a quick example with China, that's what Mao Zedong did when he came into power. It was kind of like, for the next generation to get China where it is today, we got to circumvent the mindset of the children, as far as what businesses and what opportunities are we going to put you in, so you can bring that back to the race, so the race can build.
Right.
To move forward, so that we can have a chance. Because I think that we have a chance. We have that window of opportunity to get it done and to do it right. I don't think we're going to get the majority of our people on board. I really don't think we're not going to do that. But if we could just start, kind of start small and get things done and build it together, I think we do have a chance to get things done. But as Captain Planet told the Planeteers, the power is yours.
I mean, the progress is there. I'll just put our eyes on a small product that I know us as Black people have came across. When you look at things like the black soap, the actual black color soap, you only could go to, like, I'm from New York, so you only go to like Brooklyn, the boutiques. That's the only place that you can get these soaps. Now, when you go into, the brand stores, these soaps are in these stores. And they're still owned by Black-owned companies. You can find the Shea Butter soaps without the flamboyant labels on it. They're giving us the opportunities to network and build our communities. We're just too busy being crabs in the barrel.
Yeah. I think we definitely have a chance, have an opportunity to get it done. And I mean, your lane could be politics, your lane could be education, your lane, whatever you're perfect at, that's what you capitalize on.
Absolutely. Yo, you said it best. Absolutely.
Because I think the problem is everybody's in everybody's lane. And it's kind of like, well, if that's not your area of expertise, then you really shouldn't be in that area of expertise. Let the people who know how to do it.
And you support it.
Because I think that will also tie into relationships as well. Like, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane and let everything fall where it needs to be.
Oh, and I just dropped the link to both of your channels in the chat, by the way, and I also subscribed.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought I was already subscribed to Youth Chef Disaster. I don't know what happens. I found myself resubscribing to people over and over again. I don't know if there's something wrong with YouTube or what.
YouTube be unsubscribing people. Every once in a while, I lose 10. I look up, I lose 10. I gain 10. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I appreciate that. Thank you. I do a little light stuff over there. Like I said, I just believe in starting at home to fix community problems. So that's what my content is based about. Fixing the relationships in the home.
And that's
through
me, because like I said, we had some real grown up conversation here that did not turn into a gender war, finger pointing. Notice, guys, people, everybody in the chat, take note of the conversation you heard today with these four grown people up on the panel. Q Savage isn't here, but he was up here too. Nobody started blaming anybody, pointing any fingers, talking down to anybody, saying that you a baby mama, you a deadbeat daddy, you're the reason why the community is this, that, and the other. Nobody did any of that today. And look at all the solutions.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's how, that's how it's supposed to be. Even when Sister Faith was telling for Black women to expand, it was not to be disrespectful towards Black men. That was the solution to what's going on among Black men and Black
maybe it's just
women.
my phone.
How about now?
Oh, you good?
It's a solution based so that we can be better as the people, because we got it. We got it. We got what it takes to do what's necessary and to do what's right. But I just say that it's a Sister Faith's point that this one-sided loyalty. No, we can't have that one-sided loyalty.
No.
There has to be reciprocation. If I'm for you, then you got to be for me. You know what I'm saying? As much love as I show you, it got to be in return.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing. Even if you're with non-Black spouses, one thing that I have noticed about other groups of people who are in interracial relationships, they still are not confused about what race and culture they are loyal to, regardless of who they're married to, who they have children with, or anything. Let that sink in, because a lot of us will run over to these other cultures and we will become completely indoctrinated into their culture to the point where we forget that we are Black and we are Black Americans.
Right.
Everybody else isn't confused, but we're confused. So no matter who you land with, don't ever forget where you come from.
That's an excellent point, because even in interracial relationships with other groups, they're still race loyal.
Yes.
Like, they're still race loyal. Like, you are not going to get a white man to turn on his woman, even though he with a Black woman. You damn sure not going to get a white woman to turn against her white man because she's with a Black man. They are race loyal through and through.
Absolutely. And what I'm saying may sound controversial to some people, because I've noticed that I kept my mouth shut. But a lot of people say once you marry out the race, you're not Black anymore. You can't speak on any Black issues. You can just, I would say, no, it's not that you can't speak on Black issues. You may not be able to criticize Black women after you get with a white woman. I would say that much, but you're still Black and you're part of the community no matter what. That's my take on that.
I'm kind of torn between the two, because I know that you are a Black person and you're still immune to what goes on as a Black person. I think the problem that I have is when it's like, when you date out, you already given the vibe that there is no problem with race, but then you'll turn around and complain about racism. And it's like, but you're sleeping with the product of racism. So, okay, help me help you. So I've always been kind of torn with that. I don't know how to feel about that, because it's kind of like with for example, Shannon Sharp, like Shannon Sharp loves the white woman, but he will talk about race issues like, yeah, it's not fair and race. And I'm sitting there looking at Shannon like,
but see, we as Black women, and I think this is where we probably need to do another panel to talk about this topic, but I just kind of feel like we're all in our feelings when it comes to that, because here's the thing, no matter who you're sleeping with, no matter who you marry, the race issue is always going to affect you. Now, to those brothers and sisters that leave out the community, and as they're leaving, they're shitting on the community. Leave, slam the door behind them, good riddance. To the brothers and sisters that marry out and they're not shitting on the community on their way out, then those are the ones that's still part of the community, because they're not saying that they left the community. They found love.
Got you.
And this is where, those that leave and shit on the community, this is where they're confused. Because you're shitting on the community, the only community that will have your Black ass back when your ass is against the wall. OJ Simpson, if you're out there listening. OJ.
Tiger
right.
Woods.
You're right.
So, I'm not saying at all that people who date outside the race, I've been quiet on this for years now. This is actually the first time. This is the premiere of Faith speaking up and taking a stance on where I stand with people who are married to white people. You are still part of the group. You can't escape the group. History shows you can't escape it. No matter how much the illusion of inclusion makes you believe that they really, really like you. You're going to still have a lot of challenges when it comes to that, when it comes to racism. And the only people that's going to have your back is your community. So when you date out, you marry, you have these mixed children, don't forget the community. Because the community has not forgotten you. We love OJ. We had his back even after he said that he's not OJ, he's Black. We all celebrated when he got off from killing that white woman, and a lot of us thought he did it.
Right.
So don't be so quick to shit on the community on the way out. That's all I have to say about that.
I mean, you shouldn't do that anyway. That's crazy. If you're going, just go. Just go on about your business. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all.
Just go and get.
Because I ain't got nothing to say about you. I'm only going to start talking about you when you start to affect what's going on with anything that I got anything to do with. And that's Black schools. That's Black kids getting education. That's trying to keep Black families strong, educated, and also confidence, because we lack confidence as a community.
Exactly.
And talking about us on your way out, that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
Exactly. Mahogany Root says Billie Holiday is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Said sex trafficked at 14 and arrested. Wow. Mahogany, I gotta go on your channel too. Am I subscribed to Mahogany Roots channel? Hold on. I believe I am. Mahogany Roots. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna sit up here and hit Google. I'm forgetting how to use the internet, y'all. You know when you're getting old. You're on one part of the internet and you're not.
Right.
I can't find Mahogany Roots channel. I was trying to find her channel. Oh, here it is, right here. Just subscribe to you, Mahogany. I thought I did that already. I probably was thinking about doing it and didn't do it. That's probably what ended up happening.
She's a cool sister. Word up.
Actually, I
All of y'all are.
I watched quite a few of Mahogany's videos, and she's gorgeous, by the way. Gorgeous.
So are you. So are you. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, thank you, Chef Disaster. But I want you guys to I'm gonna leave the link to Mahogany Roots channel down here as well, because I liked a lot of the content that I saw on her channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe she came on a panel of mine, and we had a great conversation. She definitely dropped some gems. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. You know, Black brilliance. You know, the more of us, those of us that can sit here and have these types of conversations where we're actually getting ahead. Because I feel like we got at least about 20 years ahead in this conversation. How about you guys?
Oh yeah, I always feel like that. I always feel like that when I come on the panel, or if I just listen.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I catch your live replays, because you be up real early in the morning, I'm never gonna catch that. I'm never gonna catch those shows. I'll be mad, but
I'm surprised at the people that come. I'm up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and people are actually coming in like, "Hey, Faith." I'm like, "Oh my God, they like me. They really like me."
I'll be wanting to hear what you gotta say. I'll be mad. I'll be missing them. But when I watch them on the replay, you know, I get a lot. Even though we're not going back and forth, I get a lot of insight, a lot of, you know, useful insight as far as, you know, me having progress and also promoting progress. So you always bring, you know, great conversation to the table. So it always seems like there's growth.
Thank
and
you.
not going backwards or not staying stagnant.
And that's the whole thing. You know, I don't like these circular conversations where we're going round and round. Child support, Black women evil. And then Black women, you should have kept it in your pants. And then it just goes back around and around and around. Those types of conversations do nothing for me, to be honest with you.
Right.
I get so frustrated.
Right. I feel like if we revisit a subject, we should be revisiting the subject to check progress.
Yeah.
And if there's no progress, then we're not doing something right. You know, that's why we should revisit conversations. But circular, you know, conversations aren't good at all. You know what I mean?
I think Neely Fuller said it best, that history isn't about bragging, but it's about reviewing the mistakes as to not repeat them. And this is why I love Faith's channel, because Faith brings the numbers to say, this is what the numbers are saying. Now, what are we going to do after we have this information?
Right.
Because a lot of times opinion is great, but when the numbers come into the game, that's a whole different scenario, because you can't refute the numbers. You can't argue the numbers. And it's there for a reason.
Exactly. And see, and this is the thing that I used to have all the time, where I would see a lot of Black men taking the numbers, and they're not taking the numbers to say, this is a problem, how we gonna fix it. Is, oh my God, you guys are the scourge of the earth. 72% of Black women are single mothers. And first of all, the misquoting of the statistics. And then I'm just sitting here like, okay, you misquoted the statistics, but let's see where this is going. And for 3-4 hours, you get a whole bunch of men on the panel cursing out Black women. We're the scourge of the earth. We're the reason why the community is going down. You know, our children are just messed up because of Black women. Black women this, Black women that. And then, and Black women are sleeping with the same 20% of Black men. And you know that I just debunked that. We all know that's a lie.
Yes.
And, you know, stuff like that, you know, circular arguments over and over again. We got people making money. You got Obsidian, I hate calling people's names, but certain YouTubers running around talking about Black female fuckery. And they've been allowed to make money off of this for years and years, and no solution. And that's the reason why, you know, people like D. Darrell, Chef Disaster, Joe W., Water Sniper, Kenny Conjo. It's a lot of you guys out here. That's the reason why you all are important. Because we need the Black men who are interested in helping the community to offset a lot of the negative garbage that's coming from the men who want the community to burn. And they actually say they want to burn the community. And that's what they do every time on their platform. When they say stuff like this, just imagine them with torches in their hand burning down the community.
Yeah, that's just insane.
When I heard that, I was just like, you want the community to burn down, but don't most of y'all live in the communities that you want burned down? And it's like, you know, the women can die in their own excrement. I'm just like, oh my goodness, that's not it. You know, abort all Black male children. I'm just like, am I in the twilight zone with the things that y'all are saying about each other?
Right. And like, that was a female that said that, abort all. When I first heard that, that was when I first started doing my videos, and I wasn't with it. And that's when I had came out with the whole narcissistic single moms video. And that was the video that really, really had people coming from my throat, because I said some stuff that a lot of Black women was not ready to hear at the time.
That was a classic video, Faith. That was a classic video. I was like, ooh, tell it. Because the thing about it is that what I noticed in this space, when it comes time for accountability, Black men and Black women in this space don't like to take accountability for nothing. It's just like, that's not me. No. And the thing about it is, in order to heal, you got to acknowledge that there's a problem. And that means you're going to have to call out behavior.
Exactly.
But once you call out behavior and it's not in agreement with what they say, that's not true. And it's like, no, it is. Y'all saying like abort all Black male children. It's like, why would you say that? Oh, you have a Black daughter, you already compromised. Already compromised. Why would you say that? Like, children didn't ask to be here.
Exactly.
And they're going to be looking just like you, and in some cases mimicking your behavior. It's why would you do that? To get back at somebody because of what they said about you?
And you know, O'Shea had a video today where he posted something that Umar Johnson said about Black women raising the Black boys to want other races of women, because we don't instill race pride in them like we do the Black women. And it really hurt, you know, when he said that. But you know, me, you know, being an introspective person that I am, I do have the ability to be self-aware and to turn the mirror back on myself and examine myself and my sisterin. And I saw no lies detected.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of sisters will sit up here and call me a mammy and say I'm a pick-me and everything else because I agree with O'Shea. But here's the thing, you know, we do this a lot. We tell our girls that, you know, they have got to, you know, stay within the race. We tell them that they've got to be strong. We tell our girls that basically they got to hold it down. But what do we tell our boys?
Right.
Don't you bring no Black girl home.
Don't bring no nappy-headed girl here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was the point. that was the point that I made earlier about, you know, Black women. You know, we gotta take some accountability that when we raise our boys, well, you ain't gotta support them, baby, because they Black. See, for the men, we raise them to have conditions. For the girls, it's unconditional. And
Right.
that's dangerous because what happens is things don't level out the way it's supposed to. Now, while at first glance with Umar, it's like this disrespectful ass. But then, like Sister Faith said, when you have some introspection, it's like he got a point.
Mm-hmm.
He got a point. He got a point there because
I've been in situations when I was a young girl. I got dark skin, my hair, nappy. I could never get that kitchen in the back quite right for nothing. And I remember going over to my boyfriend's house, his mama answering the door. Who this black chick standing here? And she black as I am.
yeah.
My kitchen was more messed up than mine.
That's crazy.
But sisters, and the thing is, Faith, a lot of sisters don't want to talk about the colorism that exists amongst dark-skinned women.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to talk about that. That's kind of swept under the rug. And the thing about it is, there is a colorism hierarchy as it pertains to dark-skinned black women. You don't have a certain facial feature as a dark-skinned woman. Other dark-skinned women are gonna be looking at you like, the fuck is you talking about? You just ugly. You know what I'm saying? And it's you get that. Matthew Knowles' mother, don't bring no nappy-headed black girl home.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling this to your boys, as far as, hey, don't bring home no woman that look like me. You know what I'm saying? That was even on the Tyra Banks show when she was on, when you had this brother and his mama. His mama told him, don't bring no dark-skinned girl home. She had to be light-skinned. And he was in love with a dark-skinned girl, and she was just like, don't bring her home. You got to bring home somebody lighter than that.
Yeah.
So, with black women, when we talk about colorism, you got to turn that mirror onto yourself as well. Because some of our sisters are perpetrators, ain't no victim. You
all saw a picture of my oldest daughter. She's very light skinned, and her father was mixed. His mother was black, father was white. And his mama, when I came home, when he brought me home, boy, she was not happy.
Huh?
Oh man.
And then when I found out that I was pregnant, she was really mad.
Damn.
Because I knew what it was. She didn't want no black grandbaby. That she herself sought to get herself a mixed child, and she didn't want no black grandchildren. And do you know that lady, all while I was pregnant, she did everything that she could to excommunicate me from her home and from her son. Now, fast forward, I have the baby. My baby come out looking whiter than her son. And guess who all up at the hospital? Give me my grandbaby.
I'm a mute.
Now she want to be a grandmother.
Come on now.
Person after that, because she got to have that light skinned grandbaby.
Come on now.
But it was Dr. Frances. It was Dr. Frances Cress Welsing who did say in her book that black women need to stop being obsessed with skin and hair. That was in the 70s. So, my mother said with the trick that they used to do in the South, they used to look in the back of the baby's ear to see what complexion the baby would come out to be. And if the back of your ear was darker than the rest of your body, that was going to be your complexion.
Yep.
And my mother even went as far as to say in the South, they used to have what's called a bleach bath, where it was warm water, a couple of caps full of Clorox, and soap. And that was supposed to be, quote unquote, washing the dirt off of you. But my mother, my mother understood, from my grandmother. She said, well, you know what they doing to the kids? They really telling the kids, you too dark. We're going to try to brighten you up.
Right.
So, I mean, with sisters, and I get at sisters all the time. Like, look, some of y'all got to hold yourselves accountable for some of the stuff that you have said to contribute to a lot of this craziness we got here today, because sisters are not victims. They're not victims in this. And how you raise your children is how they're going to be when they get older. If you're saying, I don't want no nappy head black girl in my house, and he get himself a mixed chick, you can't get mad when you start hearing colorist remarks and behaviors and why he's not dating anybody darker than him, because you done set the tone.
Exactly.
But who you want?
It's short-sightedness because we as the black women, we don't look at the fact that we're going to become black mothers. And so here's the thing. Now, we don't want nobody to be biased towards us, but we want them light-skinned grandbabies.
Yes. We want them with them pretty, we want them pretty little eyes. We want that pretty little hair.
Because I'm quite sure that my daughter's grandmother, when she got with that white man, I'm quite sure she was not wanting him to be biased towards her because of her dark skin. But here it is, sitting up here being biased because of my dark skin. So, it's a generational curse, that we've got to, kind of, how can I say, we got to try to get out from under. And the only way we're going to get out from under it is by acknowledging that there is a problem and talking about it.
Yes. And then, offline, make that progress in your own life.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to be the biggest test. Like, okay, we're going to take this from online to offline. And that's how you make a difference in your family to really see things pull through.
But I know one thing, I love me some little chocolate babies. I love those little chocolate dumpling drops.
Yes, ma'am. I love brown. That's it.
And we got to get back to promoting that. We got to start promoting the beauty of who we are as people.
Right. We gotta showcase that blackness. I think what I liked about the 60s, with the Black Power movement, black is beautiful. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Yes,
sir. There's one colorist. I believe he is colorist, but he is very, very smart man. I have a lot of respect for him, even though he's a colorist. And a lot of black women on here have wrongfully dubbed this guy as being ugly. Faith is coming out. Okay. Mr. Fantastic?
Yes.
He is not ugly, guys. I don't know what it is about black people, and I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback from this because he is colorist. But you guys are looking at his features and calling him ugly. And I've always had a problem with that.
Because Mr. Fantastic, he has African features. He's dark skinned with African features. And outside the community for a dark skinned man, that's considered exotic.
Yes.
In the community, depending on the wavelength of the community, he would be considered attractive. Now, because of his colorist tendencies, he ugly.
Right.
And it's like,
and that's the other thing, instead of us always attacking people's looks or, I think that we're kind of petty and childish as a group. Can I just say that?
Yes, you can.
I think that his colorist tendencies are ugly.
Right.
That's what's ugly. He's not an ugly man. O'Shea is not ugly.
And
You know,
people love to get on. People love to get on O'Shea.
yeah,
You know, and I don't even like when O'Shea say he an ugly motherfucker. I mean,
no.
it's I don't like how we as the people, and I think sometimes with dark skinned people, sometimes we tend to do that to kind of offset how we really feel. You know, I'm an ugly motherfucker. I know I'm ugly, but it's that self deprivation of that comedic shit that I don't like to a degree, because O'Shea got full African features, just
He
like
does.
Mr. Fantastic, right?
And
They have,
I can't get on with the whole group think of
right,
calling people with all African features ugly,
ugly,
because I'm saying that I hate, blackness.
right.
And then black people that have these more, acceptable features that would be more closer to European, those are
Right.
the beautiful ones. I
Those are
can't
like,
do that.
it's like a comparison. There's another brother online, like Super Sly. Like Super Sly is like mahogany complected, almost to like dark skin, but
Mhm.
he don't have full African features. People would call it like a balanced look.
Right. He's
Compared,
acceptable.
right,
He's
compared
borderline.
to right, compared to let's say O'Shea and Mr. Fantastic, which they have the look. Like even with let's say a C Boogie, they have balanced features, so it's acceptable. He's cute, and it's like we shouldn't be calling people with full on African features ugly. Like when I look at you, Faith, you have full African features to your dark skin.
Yes.
Me, they will kind of say I'm dark skinned with like a balanced feature, but it doesn't take away that I'm dark skinned, and dark skin is beautiful. And I wish I had bigger lips and a wider nose. I really wish I did, because I think those features are so beautiful and they're authentic.
But here's the thing, love wisdom. I wouldn't even demonize your features. I think that black people are beautiful with all of our African differentialities. We have such a broad spectrum of beauty, but we
Right,
sit up here and we only demonize the ones that are much more closer to not being European. All
right,
of our features, we are the richest group of people because we have different balances of beauty in our culture.
right.
But we do ourselves and each other a disfavor because we talk about the oh goodness, the bell pepper shaped noses. Like I have that bell pepper shaped nose. O'Shea has the bell pepper shaped nose, and we are dubbed ugly in our race. And I think my nose is beautiful. I think O'Shea's nose is beautiful.
Right. I think that our features is what makes us unique. What makes us unique is the symmetry of our features. That's what makes us beautiful and unique. Like people, like what's funny is people outside of blackness look at us as exotic
Mm-hmm.
because we come in those different shades and different features. But within the community, we like, oh, that nigga ugly.
Right.
That bitch ugly. That bitch with her black ass. And it's like,
It's
but
funny to me because I'm out here in Arizona and white men and Hispanic men, they don't have a problem with my black features. And then when I tell this to black people, they don't believe me. They don't.
or they'll tell you it's a fetish thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's they really see us as exotic, like, oh my God, your skin. Oh
Yeah.
my God, your hair. Like,
When I wear my natural hair, no black men ever talk to me. But white people are coming up to me all the time, going to put their hands in my hair.
yeah,
And I'm like, what is going on?
like oh my God, I love your skin. And don't, and for us dark skinned sisters, yellow, like yellow, oh my God, we put some yellow on, shoot, that's
Yes.
it. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I love how that yellow fits your skin. You're
Yellow
getting
is my
compliments.
color. That is my favorite color.
Ooh, I mean, you put some yellow or a nice coral on a
Mhm.
chocolate sister. That's it. And you get this from non-black people. In our community, you might get it in our community. And the thing with our community is kind of sometimes like a little sneak stuff. Because you know, with sisters gotta gawk you down for like 5 minutes before they give you a compliment.
Yep.
Because they try to find one little flaw to be like, so that bitch
Yo,
ain't gonna be.
Faith,
Hmm?
I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna drop off. All right. I got a phone
Oh,
call
okay.
coming in.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's 7 o'clock. I need to get my butt in the bed because I got to get up in a few hours. And the conversation's going so
Have a
good.
good night. All right.
You too.
Good night, Chef
You
Disaster.
too, love, wisdom.
Thank you for coming up.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's
Thank
about to be
you.
10 o'clock. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
the time is just going. Girl, let me start wrapping up. Do you have any final words for everybody?
thank you guys so much for listening to me. Thank you so much, Faith, for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And you know, as black women, remember you are the prize. You are an investment, and black men, so are you. You know, invest in yourself so you can be the best individual that you can be. You know, and let's stop all this disrespect. Like, let's stop it because we are better together than we are apart. And if you feel as though you have to date outside of your race, do what makes you happy, but please don't disrespect your people because at the end of the day, you are still a black person that's still dealing with black issues. And thank you so much, Faith, for having me on.
It was a pleasure, girl. Thank you so much for coming on, and please do come back again.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Well, that is the end of this segment. This was one hell of a show. Thank you to all the guests that came up on here, Chef Disaster, Q Savage, and Love Wisdom, the star of the show, Stefan Moultrie. I hope I answered your question, Stefan. You know, I have nothing against my brothers. I love all of you. You know, I love all my beautiful people out there. You know, there's no other group that I love more. But like I said, when I give information to black women, it is not to how can I say shit all over black men. I would never do that because I love black men. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to offer solutions to a group of women who are hurting and definitely suffering because you know we are definitely experiencing a numbers crisis here. And so I want to encourage the sisters to know that they don't have to, out of desperation, be fighting with each other over the same man. Every black woman can have her own man. It ain't that serious, sis. Expand your options, and you too can be happy. You do not have to be alone. You don't. But at any rate, I'm going to end on that note. I will be back again with more topics and open panels, guys. So please stay tuned and thanks for watching. Good night.